Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing Live Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north, Canada. We have a big fight here in Canada, finally. It's been a long time since we had a fight of this magnitude, especially with a guy visiting. Yeah, the champ is visiting. Billy Joe Saunders, gotta give him credit. He's not staying in England for his defense against the very dangerous David Lemieux. First of all, right off the bat, guys, if you want to join us, I'm flying solo today. Mr. BDA is flying solo. You want to join us on the Google Hangouts? Sign up to Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts. Hey, they should make that one. I'm going to sign up for that one if they ever make it. Sign up to Google Hangouts. Send us an instant message there, call us, give us your email, we'll invite you over, we'll send you a link and you can join us and tell everybody what you think of the state of boxing. So again, Mr. BDA here with you, as always. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. We got David Lemieux taking on Billy Joe Saunders, the champ. And the reason why I said David Lemieux first is because he's fighting in his hometown. And it's going to be an interesting fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight from what I've seen in the comments all over the internet. People agree with me. Some people say Saunders is going to box David Lemieux. Other people believe that it is Billy Joe Saunders who's going to come out victorious. And some people think, hey, David Lemieux hits too fucking hard. And he's probably going to take care of Saunders. Knock him out cold. Let's see what people are saying in the chat room before we begin. Paidaneo says hello. Omar Ali, shout out to Omar Ali, says what's up BDA, nothing much, just doing the show as always, trying to entertain the masses. Kaiser Koba, half of the boxing world will be eating their words after Saunders-Lemieux. Everyone is that divided. I'm telling you, man, I agree, Kaiser. Everybody's saying that. I mean, it's a 50-50 fight. Paidaneo says, are you in Canada, BDA? I'm in Halifax. Ah, Halifax. Beautiful Halifax. Never been there, but I hear it's beautiful from the pictures I've seen. Luis Catorce, hey there, Luis, how you doing, man? He's just here. I gotta remember, guys, if you want to join us, send us call us via Google Hangouts at the email address that's on the bottom corner of your screen, boxingdebate@hotmail.com, and give us your email. And we'll send you a link and then you can talk with everybody here. I think I got already some. I think you're right. My good friend Victor Atkinson, a good friend of the BDA organization, I think he's going to want to join us. So I'll send him the invite right away. And if he's ready, we're going to get this party started. If not, you know me, Mr. BDA, I can talk. I think that's one of my gifts and one of my curses, that I can talk non-stop. It's made me a lot of friends, also made me a lot of enemies, but you know what? How do you know what a friend is if you don't have any enemies, right? That's what Coop always used to say. Coop always used to tell me, listen, if you try to be friends with everybody, you're nothing but a whore. You're nothing but a slut. You want to be a slut? And of course BDA said no. So we're going to keep this, and gotta be original, gotta stay true to yourself. Sending Victor the invite, and if he answers. Alright, so listen. Right off the bat, I want to talk, before we get into the whole Billy Joe Saunders versus David Lemieux. We have a lot to talk about, but at first I want to start with Teddy Atlas. Oh, hey there, Victor, are you there?
What's good, yo?
How are you, man?
What did I just do?
I don't know, you tell me.
Oh, no, I fucked something up on... My TV is going crazy, just like cutting on and off. And
Is it one of those smart TVs?
Dude, yeah.
Ah, that's the thing. It's gonna strangle you one of these days, man. Speaking of strangling in the smart TVs, we got Gaia 500 back from the lab. Hopefully it's all repaired. Gaia, are you there?
Yes.
How are you?
That is correct.
Alright, whatever. I mean, are you feeling better from last time? Because we had some issues with you last time. How are you feeling?
I am much better now. Thank you for asking.
Alright, well there we go. I think at least it's answering my question straight now. Victor, you available right now there, or?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Just messing with stuff.
Yeah, I wanted before your TV kills you, I wanted to ask you, Teddy Atlas. I don't know if you heard this. He's no longer gonna be doing the blow-by-blow or ringside commentary for the ESPN fights. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, happy, sad?
I've always liked hearing Teddy, even if he gets overly excited at times and just starts screaming. He's always entertaining to me. And he actually likes to call out the bullshit that happens in boxing, which I really like. So I'm kind of disappointed that he's going to be gone.
Now, from what I hear, it was his last two fights, or his last two broadcasts actually, that really set people off, or the ESPN brass. Apparently he was being very... They didn't like his attitude. And I gotta agree there. I mean, listen, I like Teddy Atlas. I didn't mind him actually, back when he was on the ESPN days. When did that start, Fight Night Fights? 97, 98? He was actually pretty entertaining when he was going at it with Max Kellerman. But, I don't know, listen, the thing I don't like about Teddy Atlas is he screams far too much. He gets too emotional. He belittles people every chance he gets. He doesn't, give credit sometimes. He makes a bad prediction, and instead of giving credit to the guy he didn't pick, he starts making excuses why his pick didn't end up working out. So, I mean...
yeah.
I mean, listen...
It's always funny to me, too, like, Teddy gets so many things wrong. Like, you would think that after being involved in the sport for so long, you'd be better predicting these things, right?
Well,
but
listen, I don't know if apparently you got... I was listening to your podcast with you and Victor and SplitD, and apparently you got the Rigondeaux-Lomachenko prediction to a T. So you seem to be pretty good with predictions on that one. I myself am not that good at making predictions. I tend to overthink things and overanalyze them, and I get stuck, in the middle, on the fence as it were, and I never end up actually pulling the trigger. But listen, with Teddy Atlas, I don't enjoy somebody losing their employment or part of their job, but in this case, I think it's a good move, man, because he's just too... He distracts people too much, I feel, from the broadcast. Like I said, screaming, fighting with his co-host, belittling people, and it's been enough, man. 21 years of Teddy Atlas that way. But like you said, though, I do enjoy the fact that he'll call out the bullshit whenever he sees it. For example, when I still remember when Emmanuel Augustus, back then known as Emmanuel Burton, took on Courtney Burton, and he got robbed in their first fight. And Teddy Atlas went toe-to-toe with one of the state athletic commissioners after the fight, on the air, on camera, and he was taking the guy on to school. So, I mean, yeah, I do enjoy... I mean, I do respect it, because he genuinely loves boxing. But I don't know if it's the age, with the hormones changing, whatever, but he's losing it, man. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. Let me see what people say in the chat. Kuma's Deception says, yo, what's up, BDA? What's up, right back? King Butcher's on the chat. He's going to be joining us apparently shortly. Kaiser Koba says, you're going to cry tomorrow. We are firemen. Yeah, there's some Teddy Atlas quotes right there. But Pound for Pound says, first time here. Shout out to you. The first time is always the best. That's what I always say. Kaiser Koba, LOL. That's when you stop taking ESPN seriously. Low Place, I'm looking for a link. Oh yeah, I'm gonna send you a link. Low Place, don't worry about it. Adults dating. Ooh, adults dating for sex, says Kita18TK. How to use Twitter. But the adults dating for sex didn't provide a link, so how the fuck are we supposed to get into your goddamn website? Stupid adults dating. Did you go senile there? Adults dating? Is this adult dating for sex for seniors? Fucking bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Alright, Victor. Let's get right down to business, man. Billy Joe Saunders, David Lemieux. Before you go with the prediction, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the stylistic matchup of the fight. How do you see this one playing out in the beginning?
Okay, so I've been saying this for a while on SplitD, or the podcast, that whoever is able to control the pace of this fight has a huge advantage here. Which, I mean, you can say that about any boxing match, but I feel like it's more important in this one in particular, because Lemieux, he likes to fight at a faster pace, and Saunders likes to keep things a little bit slower, I've noticed. And I'm thinking that if Lemieux can just, like, bait him into a highly active fight, Saunders is going to gas terribly towards, like, the end of the fight. Like, the second half of the fight is going to gas badly and get stopped. But Lemieux also doesn't have great stamina himself, so that could also backfire if he tries that. And it seems like he had problems making weight too, which will affect your stamina a lot. The way I think it's going to play out, though, is Lemieux's going to come in fast, and how Saunders responds to that is going to tell you a whole lot about how this fight is going to go. If he's able just to slow Lemieux down, either just by making him miss and holding him or doing whatever he can do to just slow Lemieux down, then he's going to have a much better chance of this fight. It's also about the whole stamina thing. In boxing, it's easier to like maintain your stamina if you're able to fight at the pace you want to fight at. Even if some guys make you fight slower, it can actually get you more tired because that's not the way you want to fight. It's more exhausting that way. It's like a mental thing.
Okay, so that begs the question then. Who do you think has a better stamina here?
I think I want to go with Lemieux, because Lemieux is more active than Saunders, and Saunders doing less gasses about as much as Lemieux does. So I want to say Lemieux has the better stamina here.
Yeah, look, we've seen Billy Joe Saunders a number of times slowing down considerably after the middle round. So I would agree with you there, Lemieux. And like you said, depending on the style, that works on that affects the stamina as well. And David Lemieux, even though he always throws a lot of punches, he does get tired, but since he imposes his style most of the time on his opponents, it doesn't affect him so much, the lowered gas tank. Well, Billy Joe Saunders, man, if he's tired and he doesn't have the punching power to keep David Lemieux off of him, what's he gonna do?
Right. I think if that happens, he's gonna just kind of spoil and fight dirty. And that's another thing about Saunders, though. We've seen him fight pretty dirty before. We haven't seen Lemieux have to deal with that before, as far as I know. So that could play a huge factor in the fight.
That's a very good point, because against Chris Eubank Jr. in the last rounds, he was very tired, Billy Joe Saunders. He started doing a lot of holding. Like that's one of the things he does have in his reservoir, is that when things get tough, he can slow the pace down by clinching and all that. I have to wonder, though, if in Lemieux's hometown the ref is going to allow those type of shenanigans. What do you think?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm very curious about too. Just like the judging, the refereeing of the fight, just the officials in general. I'm very curious how this is going to go for Saunders.
Okay, now, do you want to save your prediction for near the end, or do you want to give it right now?
I'll just do it right now, man. It doesn't really matter.
Jumping into the water, right?
I was leaning towards Lemieux by decision.
Okay.
But now I'm thinking Lemieux by knockout. I had a dream about it, knockout in the 9th round, so I'm going to go with that one.
Okay, so in the 9th round then.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds about... Okay, there we go. Victor Atkinson is just giving us his prediction. And I can see that happening, man. I can see that happening. Want to remind people, we got Low Place on the line. Low Place, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm waiting on you.
Okay, well, no, go ahead, man. We were talking about Billy Joe Saunders, David Lemieux, and curious to get your thoughts on the fight.
Oh yeah, I'm still stuck with Billy on this, man. Only worry is Golden Boy is the promoter. He is coming overseas. He's not a knockout artist, and I think Golden Boy is worried about Billy beating a Canelo. I honestly do, and it's an in-house fight. If David Lemieux gets that fight, if he wins his fight, it's an in-house fight to make Canelo versus Lemieux or whatever they want to do there. So I am worried about a robbery for Billy Joe Saunders, and I don't think anybody will feel sorry for him, including the WBO, who probably wouldn't, reverse it or redo it. But I got Billy Joe, man. You can talk about the pace with this guy all you want, Lemieux, but no accuracy. He's not some great combination puncher. He's not very nimble on his feet. Billy Joe is that, he's that. Before he even got a belt, he had a better win than David Lemieux did. Already has more title defenses than David Lemieux can dream about, and he has that for a reason. He's better than him. A jab to the body is going to be important here. Suck some of the energy out of the man. Both had to take off their draws at a weigh-in, but at least this time we know Billy Joe Saunders wasn't coming down from 200 pounds. He's changed camps. Throughout his bullshit, he's changed camps. David Lemieux has stuck in the same pattern while he's been, taking these L's on any stage. He's stuck in the same pattern. So it's just like I I favor Saunders technically, boxing brain wise. I favor him there. Defensively, I favor him there. Punch selection, I think he has more there. It's only a scary fight because he's going in a different territory. And yeah, holding is a part of the sport, but it can't be excessive. If they try to act like it's excessive holding, and I have seen some things Pascal wise in Canada that I didn't like. I can't really recall anything with Lemieux, but some would say with Butte and his first fight with the guy he rematched. Can't think of the damn name right now.
Librado Andrade.
There you go. There you go. You know, some would say that, but look, we're gonna let it play out. I'm gonna stick to my pick, Billy Joe Saunders. Like I said, faster hands, faster feet, better punch variety. Only thing that you say he's not in this fight is the aggressor or the harder puncher. But you know, in order to knock something out, you have to be able to land flush on it. This guy hasn't been aiming at Billy Joe Saunders. He hasn't been doing it. And he's been, you know, punching a Curtis Stevenson is 10 times easier than punching Billy Joe Saunders, whether people like it or not. I think he's going to be tired and gassed out trying to look for that big shot. He really don't know how to slow his punches down. And if he does do that, he's just going to be easier work for Billy Joe Saunders. If he's trying to place punches, this is the beautiful thing about Billy Joe Saunders. He's going to be better than you during that. If you try to aim at him hard, he's likely going to be able to take away from your shot, make you tire yourself out by missing. And he got a better chin than people give him credit for too. So I like Billy in the fight.
Well, there you go. Some great points right there. I gotta address some of them just real quick. It's true that Billy Joe Saunders has the quicker feet, and it's certainly true that David Lemieux is no great combination puncher. I mean, if you've seen his combinations, it's mostly standard 1-2 left hook, and when he pins guys to the ropes, it's just left hook, left hook, left. I mean, hooks, and maybe an uppercut in there in between. But the thing is this: he does have underrated precision. So if you're a Billy Joe Saunders fan, you're gonna have to be on the edge of your seat throughout those whole 12 rounds, because David Lemieux is just a humongous puncher, probably one of the hardest punchers, definitely top 5 hardest punchers in the sport. That being said, when it comes to shenanigans, David Lemieux isn't a dirty fighter. But you brought up the Butte Andrade fight, the first one, where Andrade put Butte on the canvas and there was like 20 seconds left or something like that, and the referee gave him a good 15 seconds, I believe, and allowed Butte to retain his title. He saved him from a potential Chavez-Taylor type scenario. So we could see, I mean, the possibility is high that we could see something there. I don't even know who the ref is though, and I do believe, however, that the judges are somewhat neutral. Am I wrong there, guys? Any of you have any info on that?
I don't know.
This stuff right now.
I'm just in fear with Golden Boys hanging on. Like they're doing some hang on tactics at this point. You know, Canelo versus Lemieux, it does something for them. I don't know where they do it at, what state, or maybe they go above the border. Who knows? But they holding on, man. And when you get to that, you got to start looking at things fishy. You know, I just think Billy Joe just overall better, but it is boxing, man. It is boxing. I'll be risking some money if you put a bet on this, in my opinion.
Okay,
you're risking some dubious bullshit if you put your money on this one.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now, low plays right away. People in the chat want to disagree with you. There's Bprop KR in the chat. He's asking you if you remember the Akavov and Monroe fights. He's alluding to the fact that Lemieux looked ordinary in those fights. So I mean, how do you respond to that?
He said he's talking about Billy Joe. He looked ordinary in the Monroe fight where he just outquicked the guy that everyone said is slickster and all. Look, he just flat out told him, "You can't box with me." Monroe had to give up. You know, he did whatever he wanted to do. He punked him when he wanted to punk him. He outboxed him when he wanted to punk him. Like I said about the Akavov fight, he's not coming down from 210 pounds no more, man. He's not on these layouts no more. He's got his shit together. You know, you got to go by that last performance, not the one before that, especially when you see some changes in scenarios. And he done that, you know, to his credit. Like James DeGale. James DeGale didn't change anything. Look at him, titleless. This guy, you know, titleless, I should say. Look at Billy Joe Saunders. He's changed things. He's gotten his weight right. I think we're gonna see one of the best ones we've seen yet, and he's damn good already. I don't want to make it seem like I think he's some pound for pound great. I just think he's good enough to dominate David Lemieux in his own way.
Well, okay, see, now you brought up a good issue there about the weight. Victor, I wanted to ask you, did you happen to catch the weigh-in?
I heard about it. I didn't actually see it myself, but I heard about it.
Okay, well, David Lemieux's cheekbones, he looked like a Native American with those cheekbones, man. They were spreading out, man. They were sticking out. I mean, that's a sure sign. Oh, and he had to strip. I mean, both guys had to strip in order to make the weight, but David Lemieux just looked the worst.
Lemieux looked worse off, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that might affect your prediction?
It should, honestly. I mean, I'm not going to change our prediction, but that should play a factor. But if Saunders does win and you can tell that like Lemieux was like fading, I'm not going to act like Saunders would have lost if Lemieux was better. Because, I mean, that's Lemieux's fault this is happening anyway. So, full credit to Saunders if he does get the win like this.
How many times has Lemieux already struggled to do the 60, came in over the 60? Like, take your ass
I feel like
up.
this is like 4 or 5. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I think he
take
was
your
really
ass
early
up.
at one point.
I mean, what's so scary about 68? Take your ass up, man.
I think his problem, because he's not really like the biggest 160-pounder out there or anything like that. I think his problem is just conditioning. Like, he just doesn't work hard enough in the gym. He doesn't put in the road work. He parties too much. I'm thinking that has to be it. And I guess he feels like he's too small for 168. But I mean, you have to make a choice. Like, either commit fully to this shit or go up so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's not above possibility that Billy Joe Saunders put him on his ass sometime in this fight. Just flat out, it ain't above it. The way he's saying he looked, and I mean, I'm not saying Billy Joe. I mean, he looked cut up, even though he took the draws off for whatever reason. He looked in good shape, man. It's not above it that he is the one that turns into the puncher for whatever circumstance.
Well,
sharp shots that that David Lemieux may not see. That he ain't got the greatest head movement in the world, or defense with his hands up. So.
He does have a very good counter left hook, though. His timing is very solid. So if you just come in thinking that nothing bad is going to happen to you, if you just walk him down, you're probably going to get caught.
I was going to say, I actually think it's his right hook that's more dangerous, more than anything. Did you see that short right hook that he dropped Andy Lee with?
Oh, you're talking about Saunders? Okay, yeah. I was going to say, what the fuck do you mean?
No, I was talking about Saunders. Oh, you were talking about Lemieux then?
Yeah, I was talking about Lemieux. I was talking about just walking.
No, yeah,
someone
definitely.
Walking Lemieux down and getting caught by a counter because his timing is good.
No, yeah, definitely Lemieux's left hook. That's his bread and butter right there, man. His right hand. I mean, when I did that video there on the film analysis. One thing I found out about Lemieux is that his right hand, pretty good right hand. You know, he can hurt guys with it, but against southpaws, he doesn't really land it all that much. It's almost there simply to set up his left hook. And he went left hook happy against Rios, who was an Argentinian boxer. Not terribly heavy-handed, but he managed to catch Lemieux with some very good counter left hands, especially uppercuts to the plexus. I don't know if Lemieux had taken him lightly, because maybe he looked at his record and figured he wasn't a big threat. But, you know, the weight issue, I can see Billy Joe Saunders winning this fight. But again, Billy Joe Saunders' weapon, I don't think his left hand is all that good. I think it's his right hook. That's the best weapon here. Low place, what do you think, man? Do you think his left hand is something to sneeze at, or do you think it's actually the right hook?
I think he's accurate with both shots, and when the ones that you do not see, and the ones that are coming quickly at you, they count for something. They matter a lot, and they get your respect. And I've seen David Lemieux submit his respect in the ring before. I wouldn't doubt that this thing could turn out looking like Alcine. You know, Alcine, the smaller guy, just flat out punking the guy that you think is the puncher. Gets, you know, say, I'm in your chest now. The guy tells the puncher, I'm in your chest, do something. And the puncher says, I kind of don't have it. Like, I watched The Wire a lot. I would say Lemieux.
Best TV show ever.
No. The Wire, the boxing channel. The Wire.
I was wondering how you were going to tie that shit in. Okay, never mind.
He got you, man. He got you. He did that on purpose.
I watched that too. That's a damn good show. Yeah, but he's a mid-range hooker, and it's not much. You know, an Endon made a lot of mistakes, and that's because he's incomplete. He wants to go back and let Lemieux walk onto you. Saunders showed you, man. Hey, a guy like what's his name, Eubank Jr., inside fighter. Saunders showed you. You will not continue to walk me down. I will give you a shoulder. I will be here with you. I will get the best of you at points, and that'll be that. I think the same is gonna happen with David Lemieux. I just don't think we should go in here thinking, yo, he's also just physically stronger than the guy because he's the more natural aggressor. Billy Joe can just box, he can bang, he can do what he needs to do to get it done. If he loses this fight, I'm surprised as shit because I mean I have no belief that David Lemieux can beat him. One punch, that better be like you better hurt him or you better do it in one punch or it ain't happening, man. And I don't think he can even get that done tonight.
Well, Victor brought up the good point about stamina. Don't you worry a little bit about Billy Joe Saunders' stamina going into the late rounds if he goes that far?
I didn't think about that in the Andy Lee fight. Like I felt like I don't want to look at the Eubank fight because I felt like he grew from that in the Andy Lee fight. And I don't want to look at the Akavov fight because like I said, circumstances, he was being an asshole.
Still look at the Monroe fight. It's the same shit.
Yeah, no, Monroe fight, I thought he just dominated Willie Monroe. It was just easy work. He beat him mentally. He beat him in every way you could beat a fighter, except for knocking his ass out.
But he also didn't look impressive. It looked more like Monroe was the one that just allowed Saunders to do all that rather than Saunders doing that shit himself. Like Monroe just looked terrible.
Well, I mean, you got to credit that to the other fighter. You got to credit that to the other fighter. If I go in and I make somebody look terrible, don't go find the reasons why it wasn't me that made him look terrible. You know, don't go in there saying
a lot of it though wasn't even Saunders doing anything. It was really just Monroe being completely inactive, just standing in front of him, not doing anything. He wasn't even getting hurt. He just didn't even commit to anything. He just looked trash. That was the worst I've ever seen someone fight in a fight that they acted like they wanted in another guy's hometown. Monroe just looked terrible, man.
Got to credit that to, hey, you got hit harder than you expected to get hit. You know, the adage that everybody got a game plan until they get hit in the mouth, that even applies to Willie Monroe and these guys that we don't like. Saunders, he hit him in his damn mouth. That's what it was, man. He jabbed his face off. He hit him in the body. When they got in the clinch, he roughed him up, put elbows in his face, told him, I don't fucking like you and I won't until this is over. You know, I apologize to you after this, but I'm whooping your ass for now.
Yeah,
he
but
whooped his ass, man. Like, that's
he didn't punch
man.
too much, though. He didn't punch all that much, though.
Who are you saying? Monroe didn't punch that much?
No, Saunders. I mean, when he was fighting Kyrgios Eubank, when he gets tired and he just slows down too much, man.
Man, remember, that's his first. That's the first step up. Him and Eubank, like a lot of guys in the UK, they fight those tough fights before they even get to the belt. Unlike some of our people do over here. And then when he got Andy Lee, it was like, I wouldn't say it was a gas tank issue. This man just saw Andy Lee. He was quicker, he was faster, he could beat him on points. If there's one gripe with Billy Joe Saunders, you're leaving it to the judges. That's the only gripe. And there's a possibility with tonight, he's gonna get his ass robbed because it's a golden boy situation. But that would be my only gripe. And some of the bullshit out the ring, but in the ring, the only gripe is he leaving it to the judges.
Well, we certainly don't want you to jinx things there by proclaiming that there's going to be a robbery. But we got Cameron on the line. Cameron, are you there?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, good. How are you, man?
Good. I'm looking forward to the fight tonight. It's gonna be a good one. You know, I'm hearing a lot of people going back and forth about it, so I'm looking forward to getting into this discussion.
Well, I wanted to ask you, did you happen to catch the weigh-in?
The weigh-in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught the weigh-in. Yeah, I thought Lemieux. I mean, Lemieux always looked bad on the scales. I thought he looked, really bad yesterday. Like you said, you know, his cheeks were sticking out there. They were evident. Confusion at first on whether he actually made the weight. He obviously did. Saunders, it's not the first time he's had to get the towel and weigh in. I thought Saunders looked in good shape, to be fair. Out of the two fights, I thought Saunders looked like he had more energy about him than Lemieux. I thought Lemieux was clearly weight drained. You know, Lemieux, he's not, you know, he hasn't got the greatest engine And if he weight drained more so in this fight than previous ones, that's going to affect him going into later rounds, I feel. So I'm a bit concerned about that, but, you know, the chance for Lemieux is really early on in this fight, in my opinion.
Well, see, now that's the thing. You mentioned the weight, and there's some people saying that there were some shenanigans going on with the scales. I mean, what did you happen to see? Did you notice anything weird going on? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, well, first, you know, he didn't make the weight. Then obviously, you know, Saunders' trainer Dominic Ingle was going off saying he needs to weigh again, and he did weigh in again. And Frank Warren Billy Joe's promoter, was watching on, and he said that he made 160. So obviously he made 160 because Frank Warren wouldn't lie. If he weighed, Frank Warren would want to take some purse percentage off him for his own fighter. So he obviously made the weight, but he obviously didn't make it that great.
Well, that's been one of the things about David Lemieux recently, is that his last fight was above middleweight, I believe, right, against David Reyes.
Yep.
Well, he fought catch weight, didn't he, on the Canelo Chavez card?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think it was a catch. I think it was 164 or something like that. So
it was. You're exactly right. 164.
Yeah. Okay. We got a good memory right there, man. Good. But I gotta wonder if David Lemieux should be moving up to super middleweight pretty soon. And again, Lowplay said that he smells some shenanigans coming up. I certainly hope he's wrong. But again, we've been watching boxing for a while now, and we all know that this type of backstabbing and the shadow play always goes on, especially in the other guy's hometown. So, I mean, I don't know. I just hope that doesn't mirror the fight. Now, are any of you aware whether there's going to be an undercard televised by HBO?
Is this going to be televised by HBO?
No, the undercard. Is there going to be an undercard televised, or is it?
I think
the co-main event is
Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia versus somebody. But yeah, they are showing undercards.
Okay.
Yeah, Gary's Bloco Sullivan fighting Anton Douglas as well. I think that's the co-main event.
Anton Douglas. Oh, by the way, speaking of prospects, because Anton Douglas is still a prospect in my eyes, did you guys happen to see last night's PBC card?
I did not. Tell me about it.
Oh, I didn't even realise Jesse Vargas was fighting until last night.
Yeah, I don't care about Jesse
Vargas. I
Vargas.
didn't realize he was fighting either. He was a damn zombie in the ring. I didn't realize he was fighting in the ring. Shit.
He looked bad.
There's some news come out that Jesse Vargas, the reason he left the top rank was because he got offered $200,000 to fight Mike Alvarado next. I mean, Mike Alvarado, really?
Are we talking about the same Michael
retired? Honestly.
No, he's still fighting. He's won the last couple of fights. I mean, obviously, nobody's really been watching because they've been on. But Alvarado's on a bit of a winning streak. He had a big knockout win in his last fight.
Shit. Oh wow! Let me guess. He's been fighting in Colorado all this time. I'm pretty sure that's what he's been doing. He's just been fighting in Colorado. Let me tell you something. I don't have anything against Colorado. But if you're fighting in Colorado all the time, I don't think you're getting the best competition. They got good quality hookers over in Colorado, but as far as boxers are concerned, I don't know if he's getting the best type of training over there. And hopefully his hunger is back, but that's some bullshit right there, man. Jesse Vargas against Mike Alvarado.
He's supposed to be fighting Adrian Broner, as well as some people came out and said sign with Heyman next. I think Top Dog Williams tweeted that.
Yeah, he's fought twice this year. Holy shit, I had no idea.
Against who?
Broner versus Vargas, and I don't give a shit for that fight. I hope it's on the undercard, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's actually a competitive fight.
That's a co-main. That's what it should be.
Yeah, it's a solid co-main event. If you headline with that, then you're not going to get any tickets in the arena, I'm afraid. I mean, Broner's still got some stock about him, but nobody's going to really care.
Well, the reason why I mentioned the PBC card from last night was because we had John Molina Jr. taking on Ivan Redcash. I forget how you say his name. That was quite a slugfest. It's a 4-round or 3-round slugfest. If you guys have a chance to catch it, man, on YouTube, quite a slugfest. That saved the night right there, because there was also Diego Chavez the crazy Argentinian guy. He took on a prospect as well, and he ended up losing. Apparently, the Jesse Vargas fight wasn't all that entertaining. So just try to catch the John Molina Jr. fight. That was well worth staying up and watching that card. Let's go to see what people are saying in the chat room right now. Cachinello, giving my fight, shout out to him. He's in there. Funi1 again. He's saying Saunders' fight against Eubank was decent. Dominic Pereira Palacios says the way Lemieux has cut weight every fight, I don't know, he'll probably burn out pretty young. Cachinello says maybe Lemieux. Are you alright there?
Yeah. Carry on. I just saw something. I was looking at something on Twitter. Carry on.
All right. Cachinello giving my fight says maybe Lemieux by Golden Boy decision. He continues saying he won't last 12 rounds in my opinion. He's saying Lemieux won't last 12 rounds. Harry says Billy Joe Saunders will be looking to take the discussion out of judges' hands. So we got some predictions right here, man. Hamed, I don't know if he wants to come in, but he doesn't really like you, Lo. Please, what do you make of that?
Quite a few people don't like low place, do they, to be fair?
I mean, come on, he's a good guy.
No, I think he's alright, to be fair. We all got to a dodgy start, a while back, but we're all good.
Yeah, we got to get Hamed in here to create some controversy, create some fighting, man. We need a little fight here every once in a while. Everybody agreeing with each other, it kind of gets boring.
Well, I'll just say my actual prediction for tonight is Billy Joe Saunders stopping David Lemieux late on.
Oh. Okay, now how do you see that going?
I think Saunders stops him late.
Holy moly.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think Saunders, Saunders has got a knack of, we all know that he has an excellent first 6 rounds, and then the last 6 rounds, he lays off a bit. And but you can't really worry about that because Lemieux's not got the greatest engine. I tweeted it earlier on. Lemieux gasses out as well at some point. So really, I think if Saunders survives, the first sort of 3-4 rounds, when Lemieux's got to take him out, I think later on in the fight, I think Lemieux's going to gas, and I think Saunders' technical fundamentals are just going to take over the fight, and eventually he's just going to keep winning round after round. And I think eventually Lemieux's just going to get taken out of there. I think Saunders will find Lemieux to be an easier target than he would be earlier on in the fight. I think Lemieux's going to slow down, become very sluggish. Still have enough in the tank, because I thought in the Monroe fight, later on in the fight, he looked more more in a tank than he originally did in his previous fight. So I think he's better conditioned now for this fight. I think he'll be better on later on in the rounds, and I think Lemieux's kind of basically he's really stayed the same as he always has done. I think Saunders will just find him an easier target in the later rounds, and I think he'll stop him on his feet.
That's a good point. When it comes to predictability, Lemieux is quite predictable. He always comes in with the same jab, right hand type combination. But I'm curious, how do you do you see Billy Joe Saunders catching him with enough hard shots in order to stop him?
I think it'll, in terms of power, no, I think it'll be, Saunders is a good counter puncher. I mean, he's hurt a couple of good fighters in his career. I think Saunders I think it'll be a kind of an accumulation of punches that will stop Lemieux. I don't think it'll be like a one shot. I think Lemieux will just take too much punishment in the end.
Well, see, in the chat room, Funi1 says if Lemieux doesn't catch Saunders early, he may get stopped. And Cachinello giving my fight says, I don't think Lemieux's power will hold in the later rounds. My prediction is Saunders stops him in 10 or 11. So people are agreeing with you there in the chat room. Now, I want to ask you, Victor, HBO has been recruiting some quality middleweights in order to make some good fights in the near future. We have Daniel Jacobs, who is the consensus number 3 guy in the division. We got one of the Charlos. Remember, I always forget which is which, but
Jamal is the 160.
All right, Jamal is up there, but again, he's with the PBC. Who else do we have? We have David Lemieux. We have Billy Joe Saunders.
Daria Vinchenko as well. You got
Andrade.
Shit. Yeah.
Demetrius Andrade. So I mean, they're clearly gunning to make something interesting right there. If let's say it's Lemieux who wins, okay, let's say it's Lemieux. What do you see him win his future?
The Canelo fight. If Lemieux wins,
but that's the thing.
Actually, I think Canelo wants the winner of this regardless.
Okay, but so you're saying the Lemieux versus, I mean, if Canelo wins, you're saying he's gonna get the winner. But what if Golovkin wins?
Oh no! I'm not talking about their yet. I think that match is going to happen way after this. I don't think they're going to fight each other immediately.
Uh-huh.
I think just what they're going to do is have that fight, the Canelo and Golovkin rematch, in September or at some point, like in 2018.
But wait, you don't think they're gonna make it in May? I thought that was what they were going to do.
That's what they're saying. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to fight each other immediately. I'm pretty sure they're going to end up fighting. For Canelo's going to fight the winner of this fight. Golovkin's going to probably fight his Mando Derevyanchenko or some shit like that, or Murata. Yeah, that's what I was forgetting.
That's bad because, I mean that's bad for Golovkin. Golovkin's slipping. I mean, if the longer they wait for that fight, the more chance Canelo has of winning. Like they've been Golden Boy know what they're doing. They know that that fight's always going to be there. Golovkin's going to stick around for the rematch. Canelo's still very young. He can get the winner of Lemieux or Saunders and get another belt or whatever. And by then, Golovkin's going to be much older.
Yeah, that's part of the plan right there. That's clearly a strategy that they're putting on. I forgot we had Michael on the line as well, who had come in a while ago. Michael, how are you?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Good, yo.
Now, Michael, I got everybody's prediction so far on the Lemieux versus Saunders fight. What's your take on that one?
I'm gonna pick BJ Saunders by split decision.
Oh my!
I don't. I think Lemieux definitely has a puncher's chance, and it really wouldn't surprise me if Lemieux wins. But I just think Saunders has more intangibles to his game. I think he can outbox Lemieux if he's able to keep his mid-range game on point for 12 rounds. I still think this is a really close fight. I'm picking BJ Saunders because I think he's just more talented than Lemieux, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me to see Lemieux win.
All right, well, there you go. Another pick for Billy Joe Saunders. People are certainly split on this one, man. Let me tell you. Also on the line, we have Ray. Ray, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you, man?
Good.
Great to hear, man.
I'm picking Lemieux by knockout, even though he looked like shit yesterday.
Okay, but now what do you expect? Like middle rounds, late rounds, early on?
Maybe like 7 or 8, somewhere around there. I don't know. When was the last time you saw Billy Joe look really good? You know.
I thought he looked pretty good early on against Andy Lee.
A really credible guy.
Against Andy Lee early on.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Monroe's middleweight division. He's kind of credible, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I give him credit for Eubanks and Lee, but I think since then, I mean, let's be honest, what has he really done?
I agree, man.
That was a long time ago. I think he blows up too much in between fights, and I think Lemieux's gonna clip him.
Can't that be said about Lemieux though? What has he done since?
To be fair though, Saunders hasn't actually blown up since the Monroe fight. He's kept in really good shape for this fight. Fought Monroe a couple of months ago, remember?
He's always got that chance, man. That power with Lemieux. Just like what's his name last night? What did you guys see that fight with John Molina? I mean, come on.
I was just talking about that.
One of the least talented guys out there, but you can't ever fucking count him out.
Let me ask you something.
I mean,
John.
I mean, listen to this.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford. How long did it take Terrence Crawford to TKO him? What, 10 rounds, 9 rounds?
Something like
Ivan
that.
Redkach almost put his ass out in the 2nd round, and then he comes back and knocks fucking Redkach out. I mean,
let me ask you something.
I don't know. The
John
guy's
Molina,
got a lot of heart, and Rigo can learn something from him personally.
Well, let me ask you this, man. John Molina's been fighting for a while now, but the guy, he just never seems to improve. I mean, he's been a pro for about at least a decade, I'd say, or maybe a little more.
He never will either.
He's limited, that's why.
Extremely limited. But the dude's got so much fucking heart, he will fucking fight blinded with 2 broken hands. And he won't fucking give up.
No, he won't give up ever, man.
So I give him all the credit in the world for that.
Absolutely, man. You gotta give him credit for that. And the way he loads up on that right hand, he looks like a guy that just stepped off the street and he's just swinging wildly. But you cannot deny his heart, and you certainly can't deny his power, man. This guy
he's never in shape, man. You know, and but he's just, man.
I'm trying to think of the. I mean, I'm thinking back to John Malia. The only time I can think that somebody's blown him out early is Lucas Matisse. I can't remember anybody else.
He came really close to getting blown out in the second round. Really close.
But wait, didn't Antonio DeMarco knock him out in one round, I believe?
Yeah, DeMarco ended him quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of bad.
DeMarco, yeah, Matisse did it well.
Yeah, he's got good recuperative abilities, I think.
He's Wolverine, man. That's what he is. He's a freaking mutant, that guy. Wolverine. We got King Bucho on the line. King, are you there? King, are you there? King Bucho.
Yeah, I'm
King
fucking
Bucho.
here.
All right, man. How are you, man?
Pretty good.
I
Watched
understand you
Star
went.
Wars.
Yeah, that's why I went to. I understand you went to a little matinee.
Yeah. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of nerds in there?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you
We
go
were
dressed?
cheering and clapping and stuff. Yeah, I went dressed like fucking Yoda.
Well, you don't
Have
need to
my
dress
Yoda
up like Yoda.
costume.
You already look like it. But listen, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Billy Joe Saunders David Lemieux fight. How do you see this going?
Man, I want David Lemieux to win, but I don't know, man. I see Billy Joe Saunders like winning a decision.
But wait, you say you want to see David Lemieux win because you think he has more upside and he's more fun to the division, or because you?
He's more fun. Yeah, he's more fun to the division. I like his fights. I like his style.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the thing is that if David Lemieux wins, it's not good for boxing because you know that Golden Boy is gonna make the David Lemieux against Canelo fight in May. That's their plan.
In
But
May,
if Lemieux loses, then that's not gonna happen.
I think even if Saunders wins, they're going to try to do that. They're going to set up, I think if Saunders wins, they're going to try to set up Saunders versus Canelo in May.
Yeah, and Saunders ain't going to get a decision against Canelo.
What'd you say, bro?
I said Saunders is. I mean, if that fight happens, Saunders is not getting a decision against Canelo.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He can win 11 rounds. He's not getting the decision.
Yeah, exactly. He can do better than Golovkin. So he would lose a decision to Canelo.
You have to knock Canelo out to get a draw. That is what we're looking at right now.
Okay, wait a minute.
But the embarrassment on Canelo though, like I think they're gonna.
No, they won't be. They won't be an
embarrassing. Yeah, it is embarrassing though, because it's a repeated offense where this man's getting caused that even if they deserve, people don't like him. And now when we talk about Saunders, people look at him and they defame him. They can't stand Billy Joe Saunders. So if you get one over, Saunders like that, dog, it's going to hell. The next fight can't be pay-per-view. Maybe you got to start rethinking shit.
The next fight would definitely be a pay-per-view, man. Like,
but you're assuming that Saunders is going to outbox Canelo. I don't think so.
Yeah, no. I'm telling you, he would. Saunders is one of the most jittery people you see. Canelo has no rhythm compared to Saunders. None. It just
Here we
Canelo
go.
will have problems. Canelo will have problems with Saunders' movement and counterpunching. Trust me.
Yep.
He will have problems.
Dude, Saunders is the best athlete at 160, and that's what.
No, he's not. He's not even close.
Get out of here.
That's
What are you
what
talking
Jacobs. That's what Jacobs. That's what I. Yes, he
Get the
is.
fuck out. Okay, I'm going.
Who is it? No, tell me who it is. Tell me
Based
who
on
it is.
what,
Tell me who it is. Tell me who it is.
Actually, I would put Jacobs above him. Athletically speaking, I would put Jacobs above him.
Danny Jacobs. The straight up and down Danny Jacobs. The straight up and down guy. That guy?
No. I'll tell you the best athlete. I'll tell you the best athlete 160 is, and he never got beat.
Define athlete though, because
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. Let me.
His athletic qualities. His athletic, the quick feet, quick fast feet. Just athleticism.
quicker doesn't mean better though.
No,
Exactly.
athleticism. He's the best athlete at the. No, don't be too technical. When I say
No,
athlete,
I mean, I want a definition here.
But we need to be.
well, you look at that. He's the best athlete. Look at it. I mean, if you say any other sport, you say athlete. You're not trying to. I don't know who you're trying to put in there. Tell me the guy that you're trying to put in there.
I say Danny Jacobs is pretty athletic.
No.
It seems like
Okay.
Demetrius Andrade is
He's
very
not saying
much too.
skilled.
Even
he's saying
Charlo.
athletic.
Oh, Demetrius Andrade that was getting outboxed by a guy that's sort of like Billy Joe Saunders with a rhythm. No, he's not. He's not. He's not the best athlete there. He's wasted his damn prime. He ain't who he once was.
I
He's actually a better athlete than Saunders.
I never said Andrade was the best one, but he's still more athletic than Billy Joe Saunders, including.
Right.
Including.
No, I'm talking about
and-
athleticism
and-
in terms of the boxing match where you have rhythm. He has the most rhythm at that division, man. The best rhythm, some of the best feints. Look. If you put a boxer and you say which one resembles a double end bag the most, it's Billy Joe Saunders. Which one is a pinball the most? Billy Joe Saunders. It's none of those dudes.
I wouldn't say Billy Joe Saunders is. I know what you're trying to say, Lopez, but in terms of the actual athlete, if you look at a picture of Saunders on Twitter where he's got his earphones in, he's running up about 230 pounds. That's not really an athlete. But I know.
Yeah, that's all of them when they out of shape. Just about that's all of them when they eating and partying and bullshitting. That's all of them. You think Andre probably ain't have few titties when he was on his years off?
I still think James Kirkland would be a good sort of mix at 160.
Who is that?
We need James Kirkland back.
James Kirkland? Nah.
Yeah, we need Kirkland back. He brings the war.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say James Kirkland has better athleticism. But listen.
No.
I have a question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
If Saunders loses by knockout against David Lemieux, what's your take on that? What would be your take on that, Lopez? Like, would you say like Saunders just got caught, or are you gonna give credit to Lemieux?
I think that's the only way he can win. It's not above. It could be reality, but at the end of the day, I think that's the only way he can win. I don't think he has it in him to do it. I haven't seen him do such thing where he had to hit somebody with so much rhythm. Billy Joe Saunders always tick tick tock, tick 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 tock. That's what he's always doing in the ring. That's what makes him so good. That's why Willie Monroe was like, "What the fuck should I punch it?" I don't think he could do it. I had to give him credit for doing it, but at the end of the day, I'm not telling you Billy Joe Saunders is one of the best pound for pound in the sport. I'm just saying at this weight, I don't think anybody's really proven something to me where I feel like they can beat him easy.
Well, listen, I think Monroe Jr. could have done a lot better if he hadn't been hitting the nuts by Billy Joe Saunders' as kid. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, Lopez. If Billy Joe Saunders wins, because I asked people if Lemieux wins, what's in store for him. What do you see in store for Billy Joe Saunders?
If what?
Keep trying to cash out.
I'm asking if Billy Joe Saunders wins, what's in the near future for him?
Same thing, Canelo or Golovkin. He's been trying to cash out for how long now?
It'll look for either Alvarez or Golovkin.
Didn't the WBO put like hella mandatories on him at one point? Or is he through that now?
Yeah, he's through that.
Yeah. All right. This is the last one. I didn't know if it was 2 or 3, but I think he would have beat up on the Kurt Cisse too if he wouldn't have got himself in trouble. Yeah, of course you unify if you can.
I would have been very interested in that fight.
Oh yeah.
He'd have punked Kurt Cisse. He's too big for Kurt Cisse, man. He's too big, too good for him.
All right, now I want to ask who else I gotta go back to Michael. I want to ask you a question. If Billy Joe Saunders wins this fight, is this the best win of his career so far?
I would say so, because I think Chris Eubank Jr. was a good win, but I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. was necessarily ready for that type of fight. I give him and his dad props for making that fight with DJ Saunders as early as they did. It was a close fight, but I think at this point David Lemieux would be his best win.
Well, there you go. Same question to you, Victor. Do you think this would be Billy Joe Saunders' best win?
Yeah, you can either go with that one or the Andy Lee match. I think Andy Lee is more important. So, Either this one or Andy Lee. I can't pick between the two of them, really.
Okay, now Ray, different question to you. If David Lemieux wins, is this his best win so far?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would put it up there.
Okay, so then each guy is the best one they fought so far. I mean, not the best they fought,
I
but
think
the
so.
best.
It's pretty damn close. I mean, both of them are definitely top contenders in the divisions.
This is why I like this fight so much, because this is reminding me a little bit of Canelo and Cotto when they fought a couple years ago. I mean, a lot of people thought that fight was a 50-50 fight, you know, and either way between Lemieux and Saunders, you know, you can pick whoever you think is going to win that fight. But I think a lot of people would agree that this would be has a 50-50 fight feel to it, you know, depending on which side you go to.
Yeah, that seems
Let's be honest. I'll just say one thing, right? Take Golovkin and Alvarez out of the situation. This is the best fight you can make in middleweight division. That's a fact.
Disagree.
I don't think so. Yeah, I agree with Low, please. I disagree.
I mean, no disrespect to Billy Joe, but it's all on Lemieux here. He's no, I can't.
In terms of ranked contenders, Lemieux's one of the best ones out there. What's Jacob doing?
If you're talking numbers, oh, all right. But you talking things I've seen in the ring.
No. I'm talking about rank.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking
fine.
about.
That's fine. That's a-okay. That.
If I wanted to see, you know, the best fight, it'll be Saunders and Jacobs. You know what I mean? I'd rather see that fight. Personally, anyway.
I don't know, Derevchenko.
Yeah.
Never count him out, man.
That's what I would go with. Derevchenko and Billy Joe Saunders. That's what I go with.
Yeah. Then you also have Murata. Like, I feel like people discredit Murata, but a fucking Olympic gold medalist, I always have to rate him pretty highly in that division.
Yeah, being realistic, though, I mean, Saunders is not going to fight with them. That's what I'm talking. Saunders won't fight either of them guys. Not because he's going to duck. They just won't. He just won't fight them guys.
How big of a draw is Saunders in the UK, though?
No.
He's not a big draw. Like, if you put him on pay-per-view, no. I mean, it depends. If he fought Eubank, I mean, he's a big draw if he fights the right opponent.
But that's not really him being a draw, though. That's
not him. That's the other guy.
No, not even the other guy. That's like the matchup itself.
Now, as a champion, he's a draw if he's got the right opponent. In terms of, like, him actually draw every single fight, no.
Because I was thinking, besides a Canelo or Golovkin fight, is there another fight in the UK where he could be a big event? I don't think so. Like, can Saunders fight somebody else?
Event, because UK fans, they'll just buy into Canelo. They would.
All right.
Trust me, UK fans are not difficult to. The casual UK fan is not difficult to please.
No, because I'm thinking like Saunders, he wants a big payday. Obviously, he wants to fight Canelo or Golovkin. But if he doesn't get that fight early next year, like at May, let's say for example, is there another option for him?
If he wants to stay in the UK, then I don't think so. But if he wants to travel, if he wants to travel, you could fight Murata in Japan. I think that would do a huge number.
I don't think he would go. I know.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the best?
2 fights in a row, going to defend your title versus off your home turf two times in a row don't sound right.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, it's not going to happen.
So what? It should be happening more often, though.
I'm afraid.
They're all pussies. Everybody wants to fight in their hometown.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
I don't know about that, but he's the champion. Like, he's a champion. I mean, if that's what your mandatories can force you to do, he's a champion. I don't know too many champions that's voluntarily, you know.
He's a champion, but it's prize fighting. He needs to make money. He could fight in his hometown and whatever, and not make a lot of money. He could go somewhere else. You know what I mean?
If Murata's really bringing the bread, you know, then
that's why it is. That's how it is. I mean,
there's more.
He's a champion, but that's how it is. He needs to make money.
There's more chance of Taylor coming back and winning a middleweight title than there is of Saunders going to Japan. He's never. By the way, Jermaine Taylor lost the title actually, so
He could beat that guy too. Don't get it twisted. He could beat the Murata guy too. So
We don't know.
I haven't seen enough of
Yeah, we
Murata.
haven't seen enough
He
of
could definitely
Murata.
do that. He could definitely do that. He's seen more Muratas than Murata seen Billy Joe Saunders in his pros, I would say.
Didn't he get robbed against Endam and then
Yeah.
destroyed him in the second fight?
Yeah, in
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah.
Murata,
So I don't know. We can't
is
judge
like,
Murata yet.
Murata, just based on what I've seen from him, seems like he may be the Mikey Garcia of middleweight. It sounds crazy right now, but I think we give it like 2 or 3 years, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. I could be completely wrong about that we haven't seen enough, but he seems like he has that.
Murata is dangerous.
Murata's going to be a 4-weight champion and moving up to cruiserweight.
No, I'm not talking about moving up in weight. I'm talking about just like how they fight stylistically.
Yeah, Murata's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. What?
Mikey, the 3-year laid off cherry picker.
Good point.
Thank you.
Good point.
And getting all this credit for fighting Adrian fucking Broner. Stop it, man. I hate that shit. Now he fighting fucking Sergey Lipinets. Fuck out of here, man.
He's got to fight Linares. Now I put it on Twitter yesterday. The only reason he's allowed to take this fight is because him and Linares have agreed to fight each other next. If he doesn't,
I don't understand because like if he beats Lipinets, doesn't he have a belt at 140 then? So like what? I don't. That sounds weird.
The IBF will probably, if he decides to move back down to lightweight, the IBF will probably strip him.
Yeah. So what's the fucking point? Like this is dumb.
Just for the recognition of a 4-weight world title, I guess.
Yeah, it's dumb as shit. It's so dumb.
That's boxing.
If you knew you was going to 140, you should have been making calls up to the guy who just had all 4 belts, well, all 5, all 6 belts.
He waited.
I really don't support this dumb shit he doing right now, and it ain't no way to pacify it. You fast up on 2 unifications to fight a guy that really may have not even won a damn belt, and people calling you potential fighter of the year. Man, fuck out, man. Stop.
He waited for
go get your police card.
And
Mikey Garcia can go in his police car, and I wouldn't miss him. If that's what he want to do, police card up, and I wouldn't miss him. That's all. That's how I feel about it.
140 pounds isn't a very good division. I mean, in terms of stacked names, it's not great at all. I mean, if you've got Imam, Ovsky, Prograis, Postol, I mean, it's okay, but Garcia's, he needs to stay at lightweight for the big sort of established names. I'd rather see him fight Easter or Linares.
He's all over the place. It's like, it's disgusting.
yeah, I don't think Easter would be a competitive fight.
No, but you want to see
that's for him to prove, though. That's for him to prove. That's for all fighters to sit out and prove. You know, at least if your division ain't stacked, at least whoop their ass.
Can you imagine?
Exactly, man.
Can you imagine if he would have took that fight with Omar Figueroa?
Dude, I like that fight. For some reason, I like that fight better than Lipinets.
No, you cannot count out a man that had monkey blood injected in his hands.
He whooped the living shit out of Robert Guerrero. He retired his ass, man. So
the Guerrero was shot.
I watch it. Yeah, he was shot. He got shot even more during that damn fight. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, they'd have put him in the ring with him.
I'll tell you what, though. Honestly, I mean, I think I'm not a big fan of. I wasn't that crazy of Mikey Garcia going up to fighting Lipinets. I'd much rather see him fight Linares. But if he does win, it does give him another belt in a different weight class. So that gives him more consideration to be a top pound for pound fighter. But after that fight, I think he does need to make up his mind whether he decides to stay at 140 or go down to 135. Because going up and down, I don't think it's going to bode well really much for for fans and for his career. So he needs to make up his mind after his fight with Lipinets.
I think he told on himself. He wants to fight. He wants to fight another man that wants easy fights. And I'm not saying Keith Thurman's an easy fight for him, but he wants that. He said we go to 47 for that. So he's not fighting no damn Linares. Get that shit. That shit's not happening.
No, I think it's a mistake for him to go to 147. With his fight, with his last fight against
that's what we say, but it's $1 million mistake. It's a $1.5 million, $2 million mistake, potential pay-per-view mistake. And we see people make those mistakes quite often.
Thurman's too big for Garcia.
You know,
You know?
When I don't know if it was just me, but when I saw Mikey Garcia fight Broner, and I still give him credit for a good win against Adrian Broner, but to me he didn't look that, you know, that good in his. I mean, he looked a little, you know, soft in the midsection against Broner. So for me to see that going up to 140, I can't imagine how much better he's gonna look at 147.
And he was talking about going up to 154 for Cotto, wasn't he? I mean,
that's what I mean. You're not getting a Linares, man. Why? What the fuck, Linares? Why? You know, you getting Thurman. You getting that type of shit.
We'll be seeing Garcia calling out Kovalev soon. If he wanted middleweight titles, middleweight titles.
I mean, look, in my opinion, he's already quitting the fight. If it get too tough, you know, why not quit for more money? I just see. Look, man, it took 3 years off. That's another quit, in my opinion. So he's a good potential quitter, man, for the right amount of money. Look, 147. If it get too tough, maybe Keith Thurman got enough holes for Mikey Garcia to exploit. It's not gonna fight somebody like Earl Spence there. You can put Keith Thurman on pay-per-view. I don't think we get no Jorge Linares, and I don't even know if we need it. Jorge Linares, man, he getting some credit for shit just like Mikey is. What the hell has he done? Fuck out of here with that shit.
Garcia said before, he doesn't really like boxing. He's just, you know, he's good at it and he can make some good money from it. That's basically his attitude towards it. To make the most money and less risk.
Maybe.
I mean, let's be honest. When he fought Zlatan Khan, and you know, he was tailor-made for Garcia.
Yeah.
You know, bro, I mean, you know, now he's fighting Lipinets. I mean, we've not really seen much of him. I didn't think he looked that good in his last fight to win the title. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Garcia does, to be honest. Sorry, BDA. BDA's been cut off for about half hour there.
No, I had to do some repairs here with Guy. I'm listening. You guys keep talking.
One thing I was going to ask you guys is, because Mike, you put it on Twitter the other day. Obviously, it looks like Danny Garcia's going to be fighting Brandon Rios, doesn't he? What do you think about that?
Anybody want to take that one?
You know, it's
the only fight I want to see with Brandon Rios is against Victor Ortiz, and the same applies for Victor Ortiz. That's the only fight I want to see both of them in.
Yeah, they could do a trilogy. It'd be great.
If Victor Ortiz come in shape, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be whooping the shit out of Danny Garcia in this fight, man. Would not
you
be.
You mean Brandon Rios?
Yeah. He just confused me with the name.
Yep, my bad.
Yep. If he come in shape, I wouldn't be surprised if he get on the inside and touch fucking Danny Garcia up.
Where's Danny Garcia going? Is he going to be fighting Brandon Rios? I mean, where's he going to go? Where's he going at this point?
Can somebody tell me what his excuse was for only fighting once in 2017? I mean, he fought Keith Thurman in March, and he's going to face Brandon Rios in February or March? So
yeah, he doesn't really need to give us an excuse, because you know his excuse is his manager's Al Heyman. I mean, that's all that he said.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it is whatever. I mean, it's Danny Garcia. I mean, I actually don't mind him that much. The reason why I root for him to lose is because of his dad solely. But I mean, it's, you know, he beat Lucas Matisse at 140. He did good at 140. Other than that, in 147, you know, his best win is against Lamont Peterson, who I don't think he even beat when he fought him a couple years ago. So to me, this Brandon Rios fight isn't really a surprise. I don't really hold Danny Garcia much at a high standard at this point to want to fight the best, you know, consistently. You know, I would have loved to see Danny Garcia fight Sean Porter. That would have been I think that's a 50-50 fight, and I favor Porter beating him. But, you know, we all know what that camp, you know, is all about, and they want to, you know, get paid for not always taking tough competition, you know, and, you know, what can you do?
Yeah, I agree.
So no more Lemieux Saunders talk here, huh?
Well, what else
That's
can
why
be
they
said?
come
What
full
else can be
circle.
said
Well,
about it?
what do you guys think? Like David Lemieux has to do to win this fight?
Knock him out early on. I
Yeah,
think.
but how? Like if you're gonna have to put pressure on him, and the thing is, Billy Joe Saunders is pretty good at moving, like pivoting and moving around. So that's gonna be tough for. So I think that David Lemieux has to. I know this sounds like cliche thing, but go to the body. You know.
Yeah. If David Lemieux can properly cut off the ring, I give him a very good chance against BJ Saunders. But it all depends on if he's able to cut off the ring. If he can't cut off the ring, and if he chases Billy Joe Saunders, he might be in for a long night.
He can't cut out the ring. He can't do that. I'm gonna go by what he can't do. So what he has to do is only win by knockout. He has to catch this man and hurt him and drop him several times to either have a shot on points or some kind of TKO type stoppage. But it only has to be a knockout. He can't say, okay, he's moving too fast, I need to slow it down a little bit. He can't do that because he's gonna get his ass picked apart. Going. If he goes any slower than he already is, it's just gonna help him get picked apart. His only shot is to throw some hard shit and try to go for it, but that ain't much of a shot.
That's all he does when he fights.
Lemieux is very basic in terms of his offense. I mean, he comes forward in straight lines. He doesn't feint at all. I don't think he feints that way at all. To be honest with you, I think he's very basic, and that's going to be the problem. I think Saunders has got much more sort of variety in his punches. He's got more creativity in his offense, and he's definitely better defensively. So the Lemieux's best hope is to put the pressure on him. But the issue that comes with that is he going to gas out? Which in my opinion, he will. And that's late.
You need power and a really good jab to stop him.
Real quick.
Saunders doesn't have power.
Real quick, for whoever's in the United States, Golden Boy just tweeted out their undercard link. So if you guys want to check it out, it's available right now.
Ooh.
So it's on at 4 a.m. over here, so I'm not even watching it. I'm going to bed. I'm not watching that live. I just won't use it. I won't go on Twitter in the morning. I'll just watch the fight.
I want to believe that David Lemieux learned something from that Golovkin fight.
Well, he learned that he can take a jab to the face.
Yeah, I'm saying like, he has to have learned something. And I'm pretty sure Billy Joe Saunders is watched that fight like a million times. He's like, well, I'll try to do something similar.
He doesn't have the power to match anything similar to what happened in that fight.
He's gonna just be himself. He just gonna be himself. Don't have to imitate Golovkin. Be Billy Joe Saunders. You already fought power punches. He's already fought 2 power punches that could probably get to him easier than Lemieux could. Yeah, just be yourself.
Now, how about fighting outside the UK, where everyone's gonna be cheering for David Lemieux? Every punch that David Lemieux lands is gonna be, you're gonna hear the crowd go crazy.
Yeah.
How is that going to affect Billy Joe Saunders? I mean, we don't know. That might be a factor.
Most men crazy enough to get in a fight aren't crazy enough to listen to crowds. Most men. So I try not to worry about that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about the undercard?
There's no undercard, man. Now listen.
There's no undercard.
Man, we were supposed to have Andrade versus Darian Vinchenko on the undercard, but Andrade said that 7 weeks was not enough preparation for that fight.
Wait, what did Andrade say that he didn't take that fight? What did he say?
Yeah,
7 weeks wasn't enough. 7 weeks wasn't enough time to prepare.
Get the fuck out of here!
Right?
Was it 7 weeks?
I think it was less than that.
Less. He explicitly said 7 weeks. We heard about it after that, but we heard him say 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm going by what he said.
The news came out about that about 4 weeks ago.
It did, but he said 7 weeks, so he knew about it before. They just didn't report the shit.
You know what's going on there. Andrade's waiting for the winner of this. That's what's going on there.
Yeah, Andrade wanted to fight Lemieux anyway.
I think Andrade, I've always been. I thought Andrade would have cleaned up at 154, and now I'm not so sure about it. Now, this is before the layoff. This is before he had that layoff. I'm not as sold on Andrade. Now, I didn't think he looked good against. Who did he fight? Who did he fight in Germany?
The fucking Colque.
Quayer, wasn't it?
No, Germany was the Colque shit.
Jack Colque, yeah.
At the same time, though, that win looks better now because Colque did pretty well against Selecki. So,
well, yeah. I mean, but the problem is, I mean, if Colque is giving you trouble,
but that's the thing. Like Colque was a lot better than any of us thought he was, just based off of that match and what he did in the next match after that. So, it's not. When that match first happens, like, damn, Andrade really fell the fuck off. But now it's like, oh, Colque's just better than I thought he was.
I still think Andrade fell off, but I mean,
yeah.
No, don't give Andrade a pass. Andrade was supposed to win that fight going away.
Yeah.
He blew that shit. He's wasted his prime. Don't give him a pass on Colque was better than hell no. Andrade was in there getting slapped and trying to fight different strategies and shit because he just wasted his fucking prime. He's an idiot. And it is what it is, you know.
One guy we haven't mentioned at middleweight is Jamal Charlo. He got me 90, so yeah, that's a good sort of fight for any of the guys at the top of the division.
Yep.
We haven't seen him at middleweight enough. He fought that one guy with one leg. I mean,
yeah, the fight I want to see for Jamal Charlo is against Danny Jacobs. I think that'll tell us a lot about both men. And it's the easiest fight to make for them.
I think Jamal Charlo.
Well, it was, but now he's on HBO. Jacobs on HBO, and you have Charlo on. That should have happened before. I don't know what they couldn't make that. What's fucking going on with Al Heyman? He could have made that fucking fight happen.
Right.
The guy wasn't at 54. He wasn't at 54. He was still at 54 fighting J-Rock and Trout instead of Jacobs.
Daniel Jacobs said in an interview, he said that if Jamal Charlo wants to fight him, that he can easily go to HBO and fight Danny Jacobs. He says that he doesn't have any obligations to need to have that fight on Showtime. So he said directly in an interview that Charlo can come over to HBO.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. But do you see how hot they made themselves on Showtime? Showtime likely gonna pay them the right kind of money not to take a step nowhere. Like if I'm Showtime, my next card got Charlo's and the Charlos only versus the opponents. I'm like, flip a coin to see who go first and last. Because that shit got to be must-watch. It's must-watch TV. The only bad thing about putting them on the same card is that they can't do the damn post-fight together. Danny Jacobs, if you really wanted some of them, you would have set your ass down and signed your deal to fight later. I don't believe nothing you say. All right? Period. You fought Danny Jacobs, you just fought fucking the worst cherry pick of the year, maybe. All right? Period. At the division you've been at. So ain't nobody trying to hear from you. All right? That's how it works, man.
No, but my point is that he says that, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem because Charlo isn't contractually obligated to fight on Showtime. They don't.
Yeah, I get that. I get that they don't have a contract. I understand
that's my point.
Yeah, I understand that, but like I'm saying, like they're hotter on Showtime than he could ever dream to be on HBO. You saw what his fight did. You saw it. They had 6 people in the damn crowd. The Charlos knocked people out in the Barclays Center. Say, "Oh my God." They don't have to move a muscle for him. He put himself in a position to chase Canelo and Golovkin. That's what he needs to be doing.
So,
and if the WBC tells you to wait, the WBC's basically told him to wait because the WBC ordered Charlo versus my guy that knocked out Emmanuel Lean. What's his name?
Centeno Jr.
Yeah, Centeno Jr. They ordered that fight. Danny Jacobs basically got told you had your shot at the titles and you failed. And 2 other people are going to fight for the interim belt.
So Charlo's going to get more credit for beating Centeno than trying to fight Daniel Jacobs?
No, I'm just telling you what's ordered. Like if the WBC orders it,
okay, right. So here's a bigger problem though. So if Jamal Charlo doesn't have to go to HBO to fight Daniel Jacobs, what does he do then? Because most of the middleweights now are on HBO.
No, you're putting Jacobs in the same category with Golovkin and Canelo. He wishes he was in that motherfucking category. See, that's the issue. You go there for them. They bring the money. Daniel Jacobs brings 6 people to the arena in a good story that happened a few years back. That's it.
Yeah.
Why did Jacobs go to HBO?
But Showtime, okay, okay, so what's
was that about to be like why did the chicken cross the street joke? Because it came out like why did Jacobs go to HBO? And I felt like I was supposed to answer a riddle or something.
Who
no, well, he's going for the money. Because
who's Charlo gonna fight then? It's all the fighters are on HBO. All the middleweights.
That's what we're saying, but Leopold doesn't understand.
No,
you don't get it. Like, what the fuck?
You
said that he has to wait for the WBC to. Like, what the fuck is that? That's the PBC mentality. Sit down and wait your turn. Like,
Jr. is your way to the mandatory position. What do you mean? You tell him not to fight for a mandatory slot?
No,
okay. Mandatory spot.
Listen, hold on. Wait. Okay, so all right, so
because mandatories mean you're gonna get a belt. Look at fucking Peter Quillen dropping the WBO like he was fucking garbage. That's what they're gonna do. The same shit. That's PBC. That's the PBC. That's Hollywood. They drop belts and shit. What are you talking about? You're gonna get a shot at Canelo because the WBC mandate.
So now just because Charlo's in the PBC, he's going. See, y'all said the same shit about it.
That's how it works, man. That's how it works. It's a fucking failure.
I'm about to debunk that right now because you said the same thing about Adonis Steve. He's gonna drop the belt like Peter Quillen, and that didn't happen. And people still today don't compare.
Peter Quillen's career has been gone to shit.
Low place.
Worst managed. His career was shitty. Look at him. Where is fucking him?
What does Peter Quillen have to do with Jamal Charlo though? It makes no sense.
We can make a correlation based on who they're fighting for. Right, you can make a correlation.
Okay, Danny Jacobs was Al Heyman. Danny Jacobs is still Al, but when he was only
he had to go to HBO because he was
HBO.
He wasn't gonna do shit with PBC and Showtime.
Dude, if he's the mandatory,
dude, there's no dude, man. You get the point.
Okay, go ahead,
man. Crap.
Whoever that is, they keep interrupting to tell me something. Go ahead.
Low place. Okay, so all right, so he fights Centennial Jr. What happens after that? Who does he fight after that to stay relevant? To fight big fighters.
You're now in the mandatory. You're now in the mandatory contender to the champion of the WBC, and it's likely Canelo or Golovkin.
He already was, and he lost it when he lost to Golovkin.
I have no idea what the fuck's going on in this chat right now. All I can hear is people go.
No. Charlo is going to be the mandatory to Golovkin or to Canelo, whoever wins the WBC, whoever the WBC champion is after he beats Centeno, if he beats him.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
And now after that, if you say, okay, the big money's on HBO because one of the two big guys have the belt, they'll do like Daniel Jacobs did and go to HBO for one fight, and then they can start a bidding war if they like, but they don't have to chase a Danny Jacobs who has himself in position to do nothing. It was asked on here earlier, what the hell is Danny Jacobs doing? If you're asking questions like that, telling a guy to chase somebody like that is ridiculous.
It's a rhetorical question.
No, it's a real question. What the
hell? No, it's a rhetorical fucking question. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so how does Danny Jacobs give Charlo? If it's
why did he go to HBO? It was a rhetorical question.
No, I just want to know I just want to get an answer to this. How does Danny Jacobs, if Charlo and Jacobs fight right now with no mandatory slot on the line, with nothing guaranteed for next, how did they get closer to Canelo and Golovkin?
We don't know that. We don't know if it's something guaranteed. We don't know what's happening behind the closed doors. We can assume what we want.
That's why you fight
Jacobs is retarded.
He's gonna fight because he's under a fucking contract with Eddie Hearn, so that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, we can assume Jacobs is retarded, just went to HBO with no plans for the future, and he just signed with Eddie Hearn with no plans. Like, come on, guy. We don't know what's going on, and I don't think Jacobs is retarded, and he knows where he's going. They probably proposed a plan, and he's like, "Oh, this makes sense. I'm gonna join HBO. I'm gonna be with Eddie Hearn." So, come on, who's claiming he has no fucking plan?
No, I didn't say he didn't. I'm just saying Charlo doesn't have. No, I never said he didn't have one. I'm just saying Charlo doesn't have to make Jacob, who is now number 3 or behind him in the WBC.
See, I'm skeptical about. I'm skeptical with PBC fighters and how they're managed. That's what I'm saying. Now, maybe he has a plan. Maybe he's gonna work out. Okay, well, maybe. But based on precedents,
I'm going to give you a recent list.
I doubt it.
Okay,
I'll give you a recent. Hold on, one second. I'm gonna give you a recent list of PBC fighters that were mandated. You had Career Relic, Francis Bartholomew. Mandated by the WBA. They are fighting. Danny Jacobs was mandated for a PBC for the old boy. He's fighting. That mandate thing was only Peter Quillen. That's the only one people name, and he's what? What else is happening?
You're not dealing with Canelo and Golovkin here. Big names. Big names. That's a difference.
Mandatories
That's a
don't
big
mean shit.
difference,
Just
man.
look at
That's a big
Adonis.
difference.
The lighters
Cannot beat these guys.
Mandatories
for
do
2
mean
months and
if they
years.
don't take money, they are going to
They
get
do
their
mean
fight.
something, but it's not as big as you think it is.
Okay, well, when Jamal Charlo starts taking mandatory step aside money like
Well, we'll
Golovkin
see.
did and like Alvarez did, knock on my door then. Until then, let's not be mad at him for fighting to get in the damn mandatory
All right,
slot.
all right. So I only brought up that whole Charlo Jacobs thing was because Charlo was the one that had brought up that called out Danny Jacobs. That's regardless of if he needs to or if he doesn't have to go to Jacobs. You know, the end of the day is that he's going to end up going to HBO regardless. I mean, and if you ask me, I think Daniel Jacobs is right up there between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin as one of the 3 best middleweights right now. I mean, he gave Golovkin a really tough fight, and I think that fight between those 2 guys was a closer fight than Canelo and Alvarez was. But either way, regardless, I mean, Charlo's going to have to hope that he gets mandated, you know, to face, you know, Canelo or Triple G, you know, but it is what it is.
He has no choice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that
mean,
was.
that's what the WBC.
I mean, is PBC going to land all their fighters to HBO?
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so. When is
Yeah,
it going to
they
stop,
did
though?
If you're a star, they're gonna send a guy over there. That's what I've seen. If you're not making any money, it's like, why? Come to us. Let's do something together. But if it's a star, they sent Khan, they sent Jacobs. If Anthony Joshua signs the HBO like people are saying he might do, they're gonna send Wilder's ass as well. You know, more than like, well, I don't know. They might not send Wilder. Wilder's fucking retarded.
Wilder wants 50-50 and thinks he deserves it, so he probably wouldn't get that.
That's why I had to rescind that statement. That's exactly why. So.
Well, there you go, guys. That was a pretty heated discussion. Unfortunately, I didn't catch most of it. I didn't even know what the hell it was about. All I heard was mandatories, Charlos, and Canelo. But listen, we got a great fight tonight between Lemieux and Saunders. I gotta believe that the winner of that fight is gonna be taking on, so, you know, maybe the Canelo versus Golovkin winner. Quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about Canelo Golovkin. Until they sign to fight and until a date is signed and set on paper, I don't want to talk about him. I don't know about you guys, but
negotiations apparently haven't even started for that one, and they're going to start doing that shit after this fight, which tells me that this fight means a whole lot, and they're probably just going to fight the winner and not each other.
My goodness gracious.
That's
well,
fine.
you know what?
That's fine. Let Canelo fight the winner, and Triple G could fight Charlo. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Well, first of all, can Charlo even fight for HBO? That's the number one question right there.
Either they land him like they did with Jacobs, but I mean, when is that gonna start? When are you gonna have like those fights on Showtime, man? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, man. Now listen, here's the thing about when we talk about, because you know what, with this middleweight division, who knows at the end of the day what's gonna happen? But I do know one thing, that supposedly Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz, oh no, sorry, Anthony Joshua, that's what I want. Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker supposedly are getting close to doing a fight. I mean, how do you guys, who wants to start with that one? Anybody has an opinion on that one?
Joshua KO.
That's a sensible thing.
Yeah.
Parker has no power. All he can do is hope for Joshua to punch himself out, and then
yeah, I was gonna say that. Well, Josh is pretty big, man.
I don't think Joshua has much of a problem.
He didn't look that good in his last fight, though. Against a smaller guy.
The more interesting fight to me is actually Povetkin versus Joshua, since he's the Mando now. We might see that fight in 2018.
Nah, I think the Parker fight is more interesting. Povetkin got to be too close to Joshua. That's not gonna help you any. But Parker, man, you know, at least he has good feet to move around the ring and can jab, and the hand speed and the body work.
My whole thing with that is,
I think what's the name will come in lighter weight and be able to be on his toes a little more and beat him up.
My whole thing with that is I understand that Povetkin is at like a huge size disadvantage as far as like the reach and the height, but he's a better boxer than Parker, and I lean toward Povetkin being the better boxer, making that matchup a little bit better, more competitive.
You think Povetkin would beat Parker? I ain't sold on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident he would.
I ain't nowhere near sold on that, man. Parker got some damn good feet, and I mean, he ain't no great fighter. Damn good feet. A silly jab, long jab, you know, fast hand speed. Gets out the pocket, in the pocket when he wants. I think he's even going to give a nightmare to Joshua at some points, but, you know, it seems like he just only want to get paid in the bout, don't want to actually take what Joshua offers.
Yeah, it's so silly to me. He's like, I want 35%, not 30%. Like, come the fuck on, bro. Just take the fight. Take your 30%. That's still much more than you have gotten in your entire career.
What the hell, man? Every time I leave, you guys are talking, and now all of a sudden you won't talk. What's going on here?
You scared us away.
No, I didn't scare anybody away. In fact, I'm trying to get Gaia fixed in here, but I'm getting some problem with Gaia. I don't know. These Japanese guys that I hired to do a job really did it bad. Let me tell you something. Somebody's not going to get the ration of rice tonight.
Things are getting hot.
No, that's not what I wanted you to say, you fuck. All right, let's create a little controversy right here. Low Place, you're the go-to guy for controversy. Listen, let me tell you something. Low Place, I like you, man. I really do, and I'm always thankful that you're here to do the show. But I get the feeling.
Propose to him.
The pros, exactly.
Right.
I start out with the pros, but I get the feeling, Low Place, that if ever there was a test, a worldwide test, where people get to taste a filet mignon or a shit sandwich, I get the feeling you're the only guy that's gonna go, hey, I prefer the shit sandwich. I think it's better tasting. I think it's
fuck no. It's just common sense, man. Look, the only thing we argued about today was Charlo being compared to Peter Quillin. Don't disrespect Charlo like that. You know that don't dare. Like Peter Quillin's he's abysmal to what we call a sport. Fighting a stripper, dropping the belt, getting knocked out in one round because he's making a damn rookie mistake, parrying punches with the wrong damn hand, leaving himself wide open. Just basic shit. Bunch of basic shit. So, I mean, Charlo could have been, let me tell you how Charlo could have been this guy, but he took a whole different path. Peter Quillin whooped on old Winky Wright. Charlo then whooped on old Cornelius Bundra's, right? You know, if he was right on path to keep on being Peter Quillin, but he turned all that shit around. And he's hot. Peter Quillin ain't never felt what Charlo's feeling. And it's for a reason. Somebody's doing it right and somebody done it wrong. Like I said, man, everybody goes back to dropping the belt. He's the only person that done it. Don't blame Al Heyman. Blame him. He did it. Nobody else. If Al Heyman got in their ear, did he get in Adonis' ear and say, drop the belt, Kovalev? If he did, Adonis didn't drop it. If any other person didn't drop it. So I blame Peter Quillin, not Al Heyman.
When you say fighting strippers, do you mean he boxed a male stripper, or do you mean that he had like an assault charge and beat up a stripper?
The little guy, the guy that he was fighting, the Chippendale dancer he fought.
He fought a motherfucking male stripper.
Zarafa, Michael Zarafa, some shit on PBC. He damn near broke his neck. He sent him out the ring in a stretcher.
What's the guy's name again?
What's a stripper doing in the ring for?
Michael Zarafa.
Yeah.
Michael Zarafa. How do you know that's a stripper, by the way? I'm really curious.
He was a Chippendale dancer. That was all the news that was coming out. The man had social media pictures out there with his shirt off, bow tie on, and some black khaki pants. He was a Chippendale.
One guy,
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Some chicks on it.
He said a one-legged male stripper. That's beautiful.
A one-legged male stripper.
Look, if a man want to shake his ass for some dollars for some ladies, I'll be it.
Really?
So be it. Go do your thing. But Peter Quillin ain't got to fight him. And he did. He did. Y'all didn't see that fight with PBC where he almost broke the man's neck?
Bro, I have no idea what the fuck you talk about.
Man, look it up, man. Peter Quillin got one of the most vicious knockouts I ever seen.
I mean,
in that fight, it was ridiculous. But too bad it was on a male strip. He sent him out the ring with oxygen.
Oh my God.
And a neck brace, stretcher, all that. It was.
And that was a main event on NBC.
No, it wasn't a main event. It was like I think Charlo was the main event after that. Jamal Charlo versus K9 may have been the main event. Check it out though.
All right, yeah. Now I want to rewind a little bit. Who's the person that's compared Peter Quillin to the Charlo?
No, I didn't compare. I said their careers past. I'm like, it might lead to the same way as Peter Quillin, where he had to drop the belt and he doesn't go anywhere with his career. Just look at the PBC. It's a whole failure with their fighters. So I was saying Charlo, I mean, he's going to be with the PBC and he's going to go where? Wait for a mandatory with Canelo and Golovkin. Just because you're on that mandatory doesn't make the fight happen like tomorrow.
Man, but they hotter than Quillin, and they may be hotter than
Charlo's
Wilder.
not hot at all, man.
They not what?
Hot.
They're not hot.
They're not superstars, man.
No, they're no. But you look at the people in there, but plenty of people aren't superstars. 95% of boxing ain't superstars. But
so how much leverage does he have in negotiations with Canelo, Golovkin, and then you have waiting in line, you have Lemieux, you have Saunders, and you have Jacobs. He's way behind the line now.
How much does anybody have?
Jacobs is closer to a rematch with Golovkin and fighting Canelo than Charlo.
Oh, Jacobs' only leverage was I'm going to get you stripped. Jacobs' only leverage was a whole move. I'm going to get you stripped. Me and Al Heyman
he's closer to them. He's on HBO.
No, what's that?
He's closer to Jacobs is closer. When I mean closer, I mean he's in a better position to make a fight with Golovkin.
Pacquiao and Mayweather,
and also because of the fight he had with Golovkin.
HBO for years together. They won't. I don't think networks mean. Hey, I mean I understand it makes it easier to say we don't have a dividing line, but that ain't the only. That ain't the only thing to say. Oh, networks, we got an easy fight that we're gonna make.
It's easier.
Nah, not really.
It is.
Jacobs ain't easy to.
So
Jacobs
HBO is gonna go out of their way to negotiate with Al Heyman. You know, the guy who never shows his face, to try to get a Charlo fight because it's so important for HBO to get a Charlo fight. No, they're gonna fucking make their own fight.
They're gonna drop belts.
That's the thing.
So what you mean? They're gonna drop belts? They're gonna make Golovkin and Canelo drop a belt. Well, Canelo will do such thing. He don't give a shit. But Golovkin, you're gonna make Golovkin drop a belt, is what you're saying.
Could be.
No, he's not.
Or Charles gonna take step aside money. They're all about the money anyways. He might take step aside money. How do you know he won't take step aside money? You don't know that.
But did they do that for Danny Jacobs though? They didn't.
Different story. They didn't do it.
Oh no, it's the same story. Al Heyman, but actually it's kind of not the same.
Money.
What's that?
That's because Jacob swindled them out of all that fucking money, demanded more than what.
And Al Heyman doesn't know what to do with the fucking
the mandatory purse. To use that shit.
Al Heyman, he running out of money. He's like, well, fuck yeah, Jacobs, here you go. You know, what's he gonna do with Jenny Jacobs? He has no dates for any of his fighters.
One
He's
person
fucking,
at a time, please.
Go away. You know, go make some money.
One person at a time, please. One person at a time, please.
I don't care much for Danny Jacobs. I don't care to watch him. Shit, that's just the truth.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Danny Jacobs showed you his abilities with that last guy he picked and stayed in the ring with for 10 rounds, 12 rounds, or whatever the hell it was. He showed you what he's capable of.
Okay, now I want to talk about something here, changing the subject a little bit. I want to get back to the Lomachenko-Rigondeaux fight because now we're seeing the narrative fester a little more, and what I'm starting to see on the internet now is people are saying that if Lomachenko wants to be an all-time great or be considered a #1 pound-for-pound guy, he has to move up a division. Now, this brings up the old question, which is, what's better, staying in a division and clearing it out, or weight hopping all over the place and fighting different types of opponents in different weight classes? On the one hand, you had a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard, who is one of the kings of weight jumping. You know, he fought in about like 5 divisions or something like that. Then you have guys like Carlos Monzon, Marvin Hagler, who stayed in 1 division and fought everybody. So, okay, somebody got kicked off by accident. All right, hold on, Michael, I'll get right back to you. But yeah, so people are saying that Lomachenko has to move up if he wants to be an all-time great. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on all that. So, Butcher, we'll start with you. What do you think about that?
No, fuck off. What the fuck is that shit? He has to. Now people are saying that Lomachenko has to fight Crawford. Where are you getting this from? Maybe in 5 years or more. It doesn't make sense. Just dominate your division. It's getting out of hand.
All right, Ray, what do you think about that?
No, I mean, he's gonna move up, but I mean, if people don't want to line up to fight the guy, you can't get blamed. You can't blame him for that. I mean, Tank obviously wants no part of that, or Mayweather's obviously not gonna let him. I mean, who's he got left? What, Burchell? I mean, he's gonna move up. I don't think he cares, honestly. If they don't want to fight him, then he'll just move up and fight somebody else.
All right, Lopez, what do you think?
I ain't been listening to much Lomachenko-Rigondeaux because I thought it was poison from the start and poison still today. But I did see the Dan Rayfield tweet where he was saying, you know, better than Floyd Mayweather at 130 and going to be better or some shit he was saying. And I was just like, well, if you're going to compare him to the Pacquiao's and Floyd's, in that sense, he does have to do what they done. And you will not get the credit they got if you beat a Burchell. That's just what it is. Like, you know, yeah, it's fine to clean out your division, but it's also contextual. Same with Terrence Crawford. You can beat everybody at 140 you want. You're not going to rate higher than Pacquiao and Mayweather beating post stars and then Dongo. So, I don't know. I think he should fight to prove, in my opinion. I don't think he's proved he's the #1 guy at 30. Him, Burchell, and Machado, they all have a right or a claim to say they the #1 guy. And that would be good for him to do. Because I don't think he got to really do that at 26 where other people could have made a claim. That would be good for him to do. And then 35 it's a good, it ain't a great weight class, but I mean, people hyping up Jorge Linares, so you might as well whoop his ass if you can.
Okay, that's an interesting point right there. So you're saying he does have to move up. That's the thing. If you're comparing him to Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, the natural instinct is to say, yeah, he does have to jump up in divisions because those guys did it. Michael, I asked you.
Sorry, but I think they're comparing his skills. I think they're comparing Lomachenko's skills to that way he dominates his opponents.
Yeah.
You can compare him to other great fighters based on that, on the skills and the domination.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Now,
you go to historical.
I mean, I want to say this. I haven't seen him dominate no Diego Corrales. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not even giving him that much yet. You gotta whoop a Diego Corrales to get that credit, and that ain't no easy thing to do. Yeah.
I don't know. With 10 professional fights, what Lomachenko has done so far is pretty impressive. I understand that Corrales fight was a big win for Floyd Mayweather at that time at 130.
Ridiculous. It's a big win for anybody who beat him because Corrales ain't no loser. For anybody that beat him.
Yeah, but then again, Corrales later on, I mean, he did also lose other fights, right? So.
Yeah, but that was in hindsight. You know, again, I go back to the thing that I've been.
Yeah, I know, but.
The fuck? Why is this thing still so low for me?
Oh, Victor is back. Okay, but I wanted to ask Ray the same question. Do you think Lomachenko has to go up, or do you think if he stays in the division which he's in, he could potentially be as great by just beating everybody in that division?
No, he needs to move up. But honestly, I think even if he does, they're just going to say that Jorge Linares was overrated or whoever he beats. People aren't going to give him the credit. It doesn't matter who he beats or what he does. Because, you know, if he's not going to beat Terrence Crawford, people are never going to say that he fully tested himself. So, I mean, he's always going to have his haters. He's got them now, and he always will.
Can I ask, though, is Jorge Linares great, or what is Jorge Linares?
I thought Luke Campbell, honestly, probably edged him out in his last fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if it's just true, like, don't, you know, like, if it's true, like, Linares is, I'm not want to say mediocre, but, man, shit, man.
So who should Lomachenko fight? Who should Lomachenko fight?
He has flashes of greatness, and then sometimes
he can't control what his division is. It just is what it is. That it's not a great division. It probably doesn't look like anything. Look, Verdejo maybe gets better and says, "Oh, he's who he thought we was." You know, Robinson, the guy who beat him in the amateurs. What's the name? Robinson what?
Conceição.
There we go. He's at 35, and he's looking like a monster. I mean, it potentially fosters, but I think that guy will whoop the shit out of Linares right now. And I just honestly do think that Linares is, man, he's frail, man. You can't beat up on Crowler and go around like, oh, I'm big shit. Okay, sure, man.
Sometimes he looks like he takes too many off rounds. To be honest with you.
I like Lomachenko, but he just, the error is not the Castillo, the Freitas, the Casamayor.
That's not his fault.
Can I?
Yeah, I know that. It's just, I'm just saying, it's not there to do. So to say, it's like a false comparison, a comparison that we probably just make, not false, but something you're just gonna have to make up. It's not his fault. It's no one's fault. It's not Klitschko's fault. But at the end of the day, the guy who did it is the guy who did it, and the guy who maybe coulda, woulda, shoulda, but maybe couldn't have, shouldn't have, and wouldn't have. At the same time, you can't give him the same amount of credit. Now, like I said, let's hope for the sake of boxing that Robin Concepcion, all these guys, that Felix Verdejo gets his shit together. Who else is at 35? Let's hope Robert Easter learns how to fucking fight with his height.
Yeah, let's hope. Now, Michael, you wanted to get a word in?
Yeah, how would you guys have viewed Lomachenko about a decade ago if he would have had like Morales, Barrera, Marquez in the same division at featherweight?
That's an interesting question.
He beat them all. He beat them all. You said?
No, I'm asking how do you think he would fare against those guys?
Man, some good ass fights potentially, or maybe he gets beat. I don't know, man. Morales ain't no bitch, man.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Them boys ain't no bitches, man. It just is what it is, bro.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with Lomachenko, because people. That's a good question, because now people are. It's fresh in their minds, the victory he had over Rigondeaux, and so people are projecting that into every other fighter. They're thinking, well, people would say, well, Morales was hittable and he was stationary. Barrera could get outboxed, blah blah blah. But come on, have we actually? I mean, Rigondeaux was a good fighter. I was very impressed with what Lomachenko did. But let's forget about Morales and Barrera. I mean, I like the question, but let's see him take on Mikey Garcia first. Then we can talk about fantasy matchups, which brings me to my another question, because I was reading some comments on the internet the other day, and some people were saying, well, Mikey Garcia versus Lomachenko wouldn't be a good fight because Lomachenko would make him quit. And here's what the person said. The person's argument was that Mikey Garcia was on his way to quitting, or actually quit against Salido, when Salido started putting it on him. Now, there's two sides to that story. One, you could say, yeah, Mikey Garcia and his brother Robert decided to pull out once they knew that they could get out of the fight and go to a technical decision because of the broken nose. And they say, well, Orlando Salido was taking over, so they decided to pull out. On the other hand, he did drop Salido about 55 times or something like that, and he was on. Nobody's ever really done that.
I don't like those comparisons between Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko, their past fights, because Mikey Garcia is a bigger fighter in general than Vasil Lomachenko.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really not fair to compare those two. The two past opponents. I mean, it's not fair. They're both. Mikey Garcia is a naturally bigger guy than Vasil Lomachenko, and he was able to take advantage of that when he was fighting guys at featherweight.
Okay, but then that begs the question: who should he take on now if he wants to? Because listen, I'm gonna put up the lightweight rankings from. Yes, those aren't the lightweight rankings. Hold on.
I mean, I'm gonna go by what I said earlier, and if after this fight with Lipinets, he needs to make up his mind on whether he wants to stay at 140 or if he wants to go down to 135. He says Garcia said that he's willing to go down to 135 at lightweight to fight Lomachenko in the summer, which that fight won't happen that soon. But I mean, it's just he's got to figure out what he wants to do. I don't think it's going to work out going up and down from lightweight to to junior welterweight.
Which, like Bucho was saying about the middleweight division, whether you like it or not, Al Heyman's teams, they run 40, 47, and probably you can even say 35, 54. They run it. So who he's going to fight is, if you know, Linares would be maximum credit. I don't know how much credit you get for that when you've seen him whooped by several other people. Like Mikey Garcia just has more, you know, sad to say, he got more, well, not really sad to say, he put himself in that position to have more options. So like I'm saying, the Keith Thurman at 47, you whoop Keith Thurman at 47, and I'm not saying he can or he can't. I think you get more credit than whooping Lomachenko at 35, maybe. And you get a bigger payday, more than likely. From Lomachenko's opponents, 400,000. Keith Thurman opponents been making about 1.5 with Danny Garcia and shit like that.
Right, and that goes back to my point. Like he just needs to make up his mind after the Lipinets fight. I mean,
I hear you saying that, but the money, if you know, gotta put yourself in that situation. You know, you're gonna be weighing out that good and that bad. And Mikey Garcia has proven us he's not really worried about the pound for pound greatness, undisputed greatness. He's on that. I want to be a cop, make him love money and chill out after this shit.
I mean, I don't know who really beat. I don't know who he really beats at welterweight, because I mean, I guess I'd have to wait to see what he does to Lipinets. But like I said, when he moved up to 140 and he fought Broner, he looked really soft in the midsection. So that led me to believe that, you know, 140 really isn't his natural weight class. So to go up to 147 to fight those top guys, you know, I mean, but then again, he doesn't, you know.
Don't Thurman got holes? Thurman got holes, man.
Yeah, but Keith Thurman isn't Adrian Broner, so it's.
I don't know. Mikey seemed like he was a little.
He might be more
cautious with Broner.
He might be more defensively open, but more offensively gifted.
I think I think Mikey Garcia's peak at competing and being able to dominate is 140. If he goes up to 147, to make that money, I think he might be in for a rude awakening when he fights those top guys. I don't think he maybe Danny Garcia, because who knows what he's got.
You just said it. I was gonna say that. Get your Danny Garcia in. That's $1 million plus. Get your then you set. You ready to do this.
Now listen,
it's crazy, but I mean, if he really wants to do the weight skipping and weight jumping, I would do it for maximum dollar.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, man, because you're not gonna take a risk for average pay.
Is anybody on here like has done like fitness or anything like that? You know, personal trainers or so forth. You know, that knows about weights and jumping up and jumping down in weights. Would that be any beneficial to his career? I would think it might not be really good for his body to.
I would say I'd rather have more weight than to be drained. I mean, that's about all I can tell you. I'd rather have more weight on. It's a better thing to do than pick up more than to be drained. Because I've trained when I've been drained, and I've trained when I've been trying to get in shape, and I felt better like trying to get in shape than when I was like skinny and looking, probably looking more fit, but just drained in my body. Like I felt like I couldn't throw punches.
Well, first of all, let me tell you something. Hold on. If Lomachenko goes up, the smart thing would be to stay up. Let's say he goes up to lightweight. He should weigh in at 131, 132. There's no sense in bulking up and filling up to 135. Or if he goes to junior welterweight, for example, he should always stay at a lightweight, 131, or if he fights at 140, weigh in at 136. To maintain that speed, because the extra muscle wouldn't really help him all that much, I don't think.
Because he doesn't have power, so he's just gonna have to improve boxing if the more he goes up in weight.
I mean, he has power, but you know what I mean, right? Like it's
right, but he has power, but he's gonna be fighting much bigger guys that hit a lot harder too. On top of that, so you're gonna have to win every fucking fight by a decision.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to show here the lightweight rankings. No, what is it? Junior lightweight rankings. We have Johnny Gonzalez. I don't know why he's still in the top 10 there. Just him and Lomachenko. Maybe Johnny Gonzalez could land a lucky shot, one of those left hooks, but he's just too slow for Lomachenko, I think. Corrales, that would be a nice stylistic matchup, but you gotta wonder if Rigondeaux couldn't do anything to Lomachenko, what could Corrales really do? Miguel Roman, again, I like watching him fight, but he's too rudimentary. Tevin Farmer. Now, Tevin Farmer, I would have been curious to see him and Lomachenko square up, but he lost his last fight. Now, this is what I wanted to ask you guys. Did you watch the fight, and did you think he should have won that one, or do you agree with the decision?
Yeah, he should have won, but I thought it was a lot closer than what people were saying. People were saying it was a complete blowout, 10-2, and all that shit. And I didn't think it was that wide of a score, but I thought he most certainly did enough to convincingly win.
I agree with you there. Anybody else has an opinion on that?
I had Farmer winning 8-4. I could see maybe 7-5 for Farmer. I don't think it was that wide either for Farmer.
But you said you said you had it 8-4 for Farmer.
I said I had it 8-4. I could see 7-5 too for Farmer, but I don't think he won. You know, as big as a margin as HBO would have made it seem like.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
His loss, I mean, I wouldn't call it a complete... It was a bad decision, but I don't know if I'd say robbery.
I still didn't watch the damn fight, man. Damn Farmer's boring, man. Fucking slappy and shit. Watch that shit.
You need to polish up on your homework there, Low Place, man. You gotta watch that fight.
I don't think it'd be competitive with Lomachenko and him.
No,
honestly.
I don't think,
I mean, you saw he was not that difficult to hit.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
Maybe it was rust, or I mean, he got shot in the hand, right? I mean, I don't know how big that was, but
I've been shot all the time. You don't see my punching power decreasing. But here's the thing about Tevin Farmer. People think Lomachenko doesn't hit hard. You should take a look at Tevin Farmer. That's a guy that doesn't hit hard. I mean, and it's not because he's got good hand speed and he does turn on his punches somewhat, but it's just like, well, like the comments in the chat room were saying, he slaps. PrecisePuncher is saying, why do you count slaps? And he actually made a video, PrecisePuncher, about Tevin Farmer against what was his name? Okinawa.
Shit.
Yeah, Ogawa, about how Tevin Farmer was slapping. I don't think it was a robbery. I don't agree with.
Hey, I got a question because I like the drug test and fighters to do drugs. I don't like to talk about it when people get popped and shit like that. But I think that's boring talk. But I think it's right for fighters to at least be on VADA USADA or something, reputable. Rigondeaux proposed to Lomachenko he do VADA. Do you think Lomachenko gonna keep doing it after this fight? Should we have a push to say, hey, yo, keep this up? Ain't that the right thing to be doing?
Well, first of all, I don't know if Lomachenko's been doing it before the Rigondeaux fight. If anybody,
that was his first. That was first time he was enrolled.
Okay. I think boxers should definitely be on it. I mean, you see what happened. You saw what happened in the UFC. They started testing, and all these guys started popping for PEDs. And again, we've talked about this before. There's different types of performance enhancers. It's not all steroids. It's not all testosterone replacement. So listen, top guys definitely have access to performance enhancers. For example, I'm not accusing anybody, but I got eyes, and I know a rudimentary amount of information on PEDs. And when I see a guy like Mayweather working out 3 times a day throughout the night, jogging at midnight, going to the gym at 2 in the morning, he doesn't have anything to do because he's staying up late and going to nightclubs. It seems to me, and again, I could be wrong, if anybody in the chat room wants to correct me, if you're on EPO, which is when you inject red blood cells into the bloodstream, which allows you to have increased stamina. I think from what I understand, well, again, if somebody can correct me, what happens is you're in danger of your blood thickening, and you could have some sort of a stroke or something. So you actually have to get up and work out to get the blood flowing. So when I look at Mayweather, who at 40 years old looks more ripped than ever, and he's running around in Las Vegas during the night along with the strippers and the hobos, I gotta wonder if he's on something, and that's why he's working out so much during the night and all throughout the day. So definitely I do agree with Lopez. I mean, Lopez, my answer to the question is, yeah, people should be tested year-round, and that's actually what Nonito Donaire was doing for a while. He was being tested 65 days a year, random testing, by the way.
I don't require to give a man like credit for doing it. I don't require the 365. It's just like in a time within the fights, get it done in the right way during the training camp and all that. I think that's sufficient. But I just say that because like a lot of fighters, like, it's going to be questionable if you start doing good things and then you don't have that, and then say your prime runs out, now you finally getting tested. It's like, okay, was it his prime or was it the PEDs? Like, take the ifs out of it. Run your career the right way and get maximum credit. Like, yo, I did this all the right way. And there's certain fighters out there I like, that like, let's say with Errol Spence right now. Kell Brook said do VADA testing, and Errol Spence, Kell Brook sort of felt like Errol Spence was going to shy away from that shit. A lot of people felt that way. Errol Spence was like, send that shit over. And he still went in there and broke, like I said the other day, he has Kell Brook's retina in his trophy case on VADA. So if you continue, like, there's no questioning what. Now you can question, Kell Brook was already okay. Well, other opponents don't have that excuse. So Errol Spence needs to continue the drug program and dominate in that way. And there's no question about what he's doing. And I like that for fighters. All fighters like that. I don't like the Lomachenko, Bob Arum. And Bob Arum's been through this shit. Like with Pacquiao, with the people accusing him of drugs. Like Terrence Crawford was doing VADA testing when he went up to 140. It could have been questions if Terrence Crawford went to 140 and was knocking people out, no testing. But then he starts the VADA test and he's still doing it, and you're like, damn, that's credible. Now let's see if he could carry that shit up to 147, still knock people out. You might have to call him one of the most dangerous punches you ever seen. Lomachenko was at 26, no VADA. And then, but it looked like he became a stronger puncher at 130 when he hit Martinez and did a damn backflip over his dead body. And now, to me, you punch Rigo dead in the mouth, this natural 22-pounder, and all this guy does is lean down to the side and try to avoid more shots. No, see, like, you can be picked apart like that. That's why when we first start, I feel like the fans should just flat out, are you testing or what? If not, there's gonna be questions.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Everybody should be tested. But the reason why it should be 365 days a year is because if it's not done randomly, it can easily be, you can easily work around the cycles. For example, from what I understand is if guys get set on a fight and they say, okay, we're gonna fight in 2 months from now, they can actually plan a whole type of cycle where by the time they're tested,
and I agree with you. I think every fighter should, have testing all year round, 365 days, in a year.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Which
is you have to pay out of your pocket for VADA, right?
Oh, that's the other thing.
From what I hear, that shit is expensive, and a lot of guys just honestly they can't afford it. You don't have, everyone's not taking home Canelo paydays.
You know why they can't afford it? You want to know why they can't afford it? Because they're paying for PEDs. That's why. Spending all that cash, cash on testosterone. That's why. But listen, the reason why I'm saying it has to be 365 days a year is because if they're, if it's the fight's in 3 months, they can work around that cycle and still get the benefits. But it's no longer in the system. I mean, these guys have, it's like criminals. They're always looking for an angle. They're always looking for the next scheme, and they're always one step ahead of the authorities.
Yeah, potentially with 365, not even potentially, it would be the same way. Somebody would be making something new that they don't know how to test for. It gives more days, yeah, but at the same time, the argument I just made is still going to happen. Somebody's going to be chefing up something that they don't know how to track yet.
Yeah, well, in the chat room, people are saying testing is useless. You guys are clueless. And Luis Catorce says they need to include testing hair samples, not just blood and urine. But yeah, but from what I understand, testing hair samples is even more expensive than the blood. So, like you said, Lopez, I mean, if they're testing 365 days a year, there might even come out, there might, PrecisePuncher is insinuating that there's already something out there that can mask even if they're testing randomly. So, I mean, like, again, I don't know, and I can only speculate about who is taking something and who isn't. But would you guys agree that if there was somebody that was at least doing 365-day random testing, would their stock go up with you in terms of as a fan, or do you think that's worthless?
It's a shot. You know what I'm saying? It's a shot.
Anybody else got an opinion on that?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
No, but my question was, if somebody does engage into 300 in year-round random testing, does that mean something to you, or is that just worthless as a fan?
No, I think it means a lot because it it proves your point for what you said earlier. When these guys, when they don't do year-round testing, they have the opportunity when they're not in negotiations for a fight to be on a cycle, and then when it's time for negotiations to be off of it, and then when it's time to be to get testing, it's out of their system. So I feel like one way to beat that is for random drug tests 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
It may not get them. I don't know. Memo Heredia has said before that he's found like a bunch of ways to beat that system. So maybe it does work, but maybe it doesn't. But it definitely looks a lot better if you do get 365 days a year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't have Victor on right now, because he seems to know his stuff about chemicals, legal and illegal.
Yeah, when it comes to all that that drug testing and people who cheated or whatever, I never get into those discussions, because I'm not a scientist. I'm not gonna sit there and argue about who has who you think is on PEDs or who isn't. Unless they get caught, it is what it is. But I don't sit there and bother arguing with people.
That's the approach I take. Like, do your job as a fighter to at least have that badge of, hey, I put myself out there. If they can do their job, I did my job. Let them do their job. And and like the WBC champions, I appreciate them all. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the WBA trying to get involved. And a lot of the WBC champions, Badu Jack won, took his shit and I think still beat the hell out of somebody doing anti-doping. So, I appreciate shit like that. And it needs to be done more, man. I brought that up because I was, I had been telling, like, on my channel, like, yo, do your fucking VADA testing. Like, you go up there and knock Martinez out. I'm not finna just have this shit. Like, we need to see something. Like, you increase power. Like, I never seen Lomachenko put nobody to sleep. And then the second weight class, boom, Martinez was out. My man did a backflip over his dead body.
But that was more so of a punch that he didn't see coming. I mean, look, when he fought Walters, you can't tell me that Walters was hurt at all in that fight.
But Lomachenko has skills to hit you with punches you don't see. He hit several people with punches they didn't see coming at 126. And another thing that bothered me, another thing that bothered me is after they did VADA. We can look at the pre and then we can look at the post. And I made a video about this. Rigondeaux is the weakest fighter he ever fought. Not in terms because he quit, but he's naturally the weakest fighter he has ever fought. And Lomachenko in the dressing room was telling the trainer, yo, watch him grappling me and holding me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Lomachenko, you're not going to have no problem breaking this damn clinch. You broke the shit out of Sosa's clinches. Fuck out of here. Rigo can't hold you. And then when they got in the ring, I saw times where Lomachenko is literally having to squat, headbutt, and all these things that he didn't have to do with Sosa to break clinches. And Sosa is a former football player, former running back, a guy that looked physically stronger than Nicholas Walters. And it's like, now, like, it didn't make sense to me. Pre-VADA, post-VADA, just keep doing it. And then my thoughts would be erased. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And I won't like it in any fighter that I see. And I think he exposed something in himself making that fight. He didn't want any credit for the fight. But I think they exposed something in him by making that and Rigo showing that, yo, I can hold you and I'm weaker than all those other guys. Now, like I said in the video, it may be because Rigo is a master clincher or something like that. It may be that he can clinch his ass off, but we'll see.
Yeah, Rigondeaux was clinching very hard, man. I mean, I don't listen. I really don't know. With Lomachenko, I don't see what he would be doping in. But again, who the hell really knows? I mean, I'm not going around testing these guys or snipping a hair follicle and testing it in my private lab or anything like that. So I don't know, man. I mean, who knows? I will say that if you do 365-day year type of testing, then at least it's almost like low-hanging fruit and high-hanging fruit. At least you're doing an effort. But even then, people in the chat room are saying that there's stuff out there that's not even being tested for right now. So who really knows? PrecisePuncher. PrecisePuncher wants to. All right, hold on a second. Now I will say that if for example, Anthony Joshua, you look at that guy, he looks huge. Now, do you go? Yep. Is that genetics?
HGH gut. You can't fucking deny that.
but look, like I said, he did his testing. That's all I can go with, man. Put yourself out there and let them pop your ass. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he is on something. Who the fuck knows, man? Well, some people are genetic fucking freaks, though.
That's true. That's true. But I don't know if it's because I'm too cynical or something here.
You don't get a gut like that in between two fights.
And then there's also things that you can use to burn fat as well. So, I mean, I don't know. Listen, PrecisePuncher was telling us in the chat room a lot about PED, so we're gonna bring him in and see if he can tell us more about this whole PED issue and get it cleared up, because I don't know that much about it. So, all right, Precise, how are you, man?
Good. I guess I am on, huh?
Yeah, you're on.
I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, and I got shit to do, but I just wanted to say something, if I may, about the PED testing situation.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know if you guys remember when a bunch of Mexicans were getting caught for clenbuterol, like Morales and Francisco Vargas.
Yeah, yeah.
And they had this excuse that it was in the meat, right? Because it is in the meat in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
In the United States, they have a drug in the same family but stronger that's called ractopamine. Ractopamine, I don't know. And it's in the meat. U.S. is the only country in the world, or like one of very few countries, that has that thing in the meat. Now, if it's just like clenbuterol, only stronger, and it's in the meat, how come American fighters never get caught with ractopamine like Mexican fighters do? And I sent an email to WADA asking them why it's not on the banned list, because it's not. And they gave me some wishy-washy answer. Okay, so there are basically is what I'm saying. I'm fairly sure there are a lot of PEDs that they just don't test for, right? And a lot of Americans should be getting caught just because it's in the meat. It's in all of the meat in the United States, and U.S. is like one of the only countries that has it. So even if they're innocent, they should be getting caught, but they're not. So you could use ractopamine potentially and never get caught, and it's like clenbuterol, you know, it helps you lose weight, it gives you energy, and it's a very potent drug and a very dangerous one, but they don't test for it. So the whole PED thing is one big scam, and that's all I wanted to say. It's just a scam, guys. Like, it's not even worth talking about it, but hey, to each his own.
Well, no, you bring a good point there. That's really the smoking gun there. Why aren't they getting caught for that if it's in the same meat in different countries? That is a very good point, of which I was unaware. I mean, that's the thing. You said that they're not even testing for it. It's not about masking it. And you also said that they have... You also said they have legal PEDs that they use and that they don't even test.
Legal insofar as stuff that's not illegal yet, because it's resynthesized compounds that they have not developed a test for yet, and may never do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. And it's just like, just look at it this way. How come the A sides never get caught, right? And how come it's always these fat, pudgy guys that are getting caught, and it's always the B sides? But, like, come on, guys. We all know Anthony Joshua is on the gear. We all know he is. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with it. I think he's on it. He looks like he's on it. David Hay, come on. But those guys never get caught. And if they are clean, why aren't they entering all-natural bodybuilding competition and just crushing the field and making money on the side by doing nothing, just by showing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they doing, like, for example, it's... The whole PED thing is a scam. Tyson Fury, in my opinion, is going to expose UCAT. USADA's been exposed. VADA covered up the whole Stavern thing. Like, I can't even talk about it, but from what I heard from credible sources, they covered this shit out of what he tested for was a lie. Like, I mean, I got Margaret Goodman on record lying about shit. Come on.
Whoa,
this shit's one big fucking joke, man. That's all I'm saying.
They even got to Margaret Goodman?
She's on record lying, so I don't know. She's in court. If you read the Povetkin transcripts, like Vara destroyed his test samples with the whole meldonium case. They wanted to retest the samples in an independent lab, WADA accredited lab in Switzerland. They wanted to send those samples there and have them retested, and Vara destroyed them. So they couldn't even retest them independently to see what happened. You know what I mean? And then there's, look, I know like it's a lot of work and it's not even boxing, but I had someone send me a bunch of court documents and I was reading through that stuff. They set the guy up, man. They set him up. Like, if you just read through those documents, that was just so much bullshit. For example, the main director of the lab who gave the testimony and said that Povetkin failed, he didn't even know how to read the printouts from mass spectrometry readings. Like, he didn't even know how to read them. But he was the guy that said that he was on meldonium. Like, when for example, when you do a test, it's not like it just pops up and it says meldonium. There's each, and I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to be able to explain it. But each drug has like a fingerprint, right? Has a, and there's a lot of interpretation there. It's not a science. It's not an absolute science. There's a ton of interpretation there. I mean, they brought in experts from Povetkin's side, and they had some of the mass spectrometry readouts, and they were saying that it's very likely that they just made a mistake, quote unquote, made a mistake. It's like this shit is so complicated. It's not even worth like getting into it, guys. It's one big fucking scam. It's just a scam. The drug testing, I mean, look at how Wilder is being protected. Right? I mean, all these guys are getting caught when they're about to fight Wilder, and then the whole Ortiz case turned out to be bullshit. The Povetkin case, both times turned out to be bullshit. Meanwhile, Stavern, Francisco Vargas, they all get to fight and go on with their fights when they get caught. I mean, you got what's dude's name? The guy that was fighting one of the Charlos, I think, Hatley. One of them guys is like on Instagram doing an IV, violating WADA protocol, and they didn't do shit about that.
Okay, but I gotta,
you know, it's like,
I gotta say something. There's a guy in the chat room, Sanctus Deus Cor. He's saying, "Oh, okay, AJ is on roids, but Povetkin was set up," and then he goes LMAO. So he's sort of intimating that you're not being fair here. How do you respond to that?
It's just my opinion. I mean, I don't care if you agree or disagree. I read some of the court documents. If he read them, which I'm sure he hasn't, you know, you could debate what I said about Povetkin, but you can't. You're just trolling, basically. I read the documents. If you really want, I'll dig them up for you and I'll email them to you. You could read the court transcripts. You'll see Margaret Goodman crying in court when the prosecutor pressed her, and being very nervous and in tears. I mean, this shit's deep, guys. Like, and no one covered it at all. People just went to boxing scene and they reported what somebody else reported. It was like sloppy second reporting. Well, nobody. I and Maxwell Bear and Thunderdome were the only ones who looked at all the source materials, the original materials from the court case, and we drew our conclusions from there. Nobody else did that. So that troll can say whatever the hell he wants. As far as AJ being on roids, that's just my opinion. I don't have any proof. It's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. You don't have to like it. I mean, you know, if you don't think he looks like a bodybuilder, then hey, so be it.
Well, you know,
where did they hold court at? In what country?
New York. New York District Court, New York. The case still isn't resolved. Wilder didn't get his money. He sued Povetkin for a whole bunch of money, and even though the jury, they ruled on it and said that Povetkin was guilty, the judge did not release the money because a lot of the documents were withheld from the jury. The jury was not allowed to see all the testimony, right? So and the judge saw it. So even though the jury ruled on the case, Wilder never got the payout. The money's still in escrow. This isn't a done deal yet. So, you know, but this is all public information. Anyone who wants to can look this up, like I did, and you'll know. Or you could just, you know, talk as if you knew something when you don't know anything about the case. But that's just You know, the bottom line. I mean, how did I know before anything ever came out that Povetkin was going to be cleared? I called it. I said they were going to clear his name. You'll see. And they cleared his name. How did I know that? Because I made it up? Come on. Come on.
Well, see, now, Precise, I always enjoy your videos, and I always see you approaching things from a logical standpoint. You don't take sides just because you like or dislike a guy. And Low Place, this discussion reminds me of what you said some weeks ago about how boxing journalists, or so-called journalists, I should say, don't always ask the hard questions because, you know, they're afraid of getting barred from certain events or speaking for certain fighters. I mean, is this something that you think is part of that whole global scheme, or, I mean, how do you see that?
Me or Low Place?
Low Place. I don't think he even heard Mike.
I was typing a response to Zone 6.
No, I was going to ask you, based off of what Precise said about how journalists aren't even looking into this, but if you do enough research and you know where to look, you can actually find a wealth of information on this. I mean, is this something that boxing journalists should be getting an eye on, keeping an eye on, but they just...
Well, personally, I like to keep my... Like, if he looked at all the PED stuff, that's something he's interested in. I hate that stuff. I said that before we even started. I just feel like the fighters need to do the... You know, get that test in and put their name out there and be clean themselves. Find the best way to be clean. It's their job. I didn't sign them up for it. But, you know, it would bore me to death. You know, looking at PEDs and butyrols and, you know, all these ridiculous names for all this shit you just could have called Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Why couldn't you just call this Star or Moon or fuck it, you know? I really don't like all that stuff. And, you know, I just like to look at when a fighter's credibility is being tested by somebody saying, oh, this is some ducking or some shit like that. And then it's just a whole mass of it. That's when I want to go at people. Like, you know, if it's one person's thing for the PD, it is. But me personally, I just feel like they need to just keep themselves clean the best way they can, and put themselves at risk for getting thrown out if they ain't.
That's a good point, man. And I'm looking at the comments here on the chat room, and Sanctus Deus Cruor, you know, I'm starting to get the feeling that you're not exactly eager to engage in serious conversation because you're just telling people that your mother smoked your cock. So I mean, if you can't refute what PrecisePuncher said, maybe you shouldn't be taking sides.
Well, that guy you talking to, he trolled me in the group. I think that's the right guy. I think that's a Black Latin Caesar is actually who that is. If he gets on here, I think his name. If I'm wrong, Sanctus De Cruz, I apologize in advance. But if you're actually Black Latin Caesar, yeah, I've had dealings with you before, and you know, you were telling me about fuck me and all this on Dan the Man's Hangout. So if that is you, Black Latin Caesar, you know, it's still fuck you and whatever.
Yeah, that Low Place, that's the angriest I've ever heard you sound, man.
Yeah, well, he pissed me off, man. I don't like internet gangsters because I probably fuck you up in real life. So, you know, just don't start shit on the internet. If you really want problems. Okay, he said never called you anything. I mean, like I said, bro, if Sanctus Day crew or whatever it is not Black Latin Caesar, I apologize in advance. But to Black Latin Caesar, whoever you are, is still, he says he's not Black Latin Caesar. So I apologize. But to Black Latin Caesar, it's still fuck you.
Well, there you go, man. Now listen, I'm not going to invite Sanctus right now, not because I don't want to, but because we're running out of time here. Precise, just one last thing regarding the drug testing issue. So your position is don't even bother talking about it because it's just so the corruption is so ingrained that it's not even worth talking about it. Is that your position?
Yeah, and you honestly, to have an educated opinion on this, you'd have to spend hours researching it and looking into it. And the boxing fan doesn't want to do that, like Low Place pointed out, and I understand it. The problem is that there's a whole bunch of ignorant people acting like they know what they're talking about, and truthfully they have no clue. So it's useless. You know what I mean? It's you know, it's a waste of our time.
Yeah. All right. So that's interesting, man, because I've always suspected that these guys were on something, and like you said, I mean, I hate to sound like a cynic, but that's the same feeling I'm getting here, that these guys, I mean, you look at Roy Jones, for example, and this was what, 14 years ago, when he jumped up from light heavyweight to heavyweight. all of a sudden he went up to 199 or something like that. I think he weighed 200 actually. And you're supposed to think that was natural?
No, Roy got caught for using steroids or just synthetic testosterone, same thing. He got caught, so it's on record.
Right, and he said that it was like a cortisone, what do you call them? Those shots they take up the nose, right? Like that spray or something, right?
No, well, I mean, that's what he said, but his testosterone to epitestosterone ratio was through the roof, so he injected testosterone. That's the only way to get that, testosterone ratio in your body. It was like 15-1 or something crazy, like just impossible to attain naturally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and definitely definitely he didn't get that.
One last thing I want to say, if I may. Ask yourself this. How the hell did Povetkin get rated and became a mandatory so quickly after his suspension ended? How the hell did he, get all of a sudden rated? And I'm going to tell you why. It's because his promoter is powerful. He has a lot of money. They have a ton of dirt on Vara. They don't want to blow it out. They don't want to discredit Vara. They just made a deal, and they said, look, we're going to expose you, or you're going to help us out, Listen, boxing world, we want a title shot. We deserve a title shot. Either you give us a way to a title and fuck you, WBC, or we're going to expose Vara, and that's going to be it. That's it. That's what happened.
All right. Well, that certainly clears things up. And that example that you talked about, Povetkin, I was not aware of it. One of our panelists, Victor Atkinson, he told me that what Povetkin had taken, that the whole story was fishy because he could have taken something even better. And for a guy like Povetkin to take something like the substance that supposedly he took really made no sense. So there's definitely some shenanigans there. And if I have the time, I'm going to look into...
He never failed the test for meldonium. He had a legal amount of meldonium in his system. He never failed.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a lie. He never failed.
Now, is this something similar to the Luis Ortiz situation?
I didn't really follow the Ortiz situation, but that was bullshit too. I'm just gonna assume it was because, how many guys are they gonna catch, and they're all kind of fat and out of shape, and do they really look like they're on PEDs? And I understand you can't just go by that.
Exactly.
But what are the chances that all the fat guys are on PEDs and all the guys that are ripped are clean? Come on.
Good point. Very good point. Now we're almost at the time. So I want to give Hamed 92 the last word. Hamed, we got about 5 minutes left. So if you wanna. Whatever you want to say, go ahead, man.
One sec. Yeah, so I wasn't really feeling that well, so I couldn't jump in earlier on for the Lemieux one, but I was listening to a bit of a long debate if I did jump on. But I just was hearing from boxing. I went over a bit of a.
You're breaking up, man. I can't hear what you say. Hamed?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so last time I was talking about Brook, and I was saying Brook might have been on something prior to the Sean Porter fight.
Uh-huh.
Now, I think I want to see something. A lot of people are putting out Lomachenko is on something without concrete evidence. I want to ask a person who's on the line, does he think Lomachenko is on anything?
I think Precise just jumped off. I think he was just here to address the PED issue, but he's not on the Hangouts anymore.
Still on there, cause
he might be in the chat, but no, he's not on the line anymore.
I could see more than one people. So I was just going to say, with regarding Joshua, I think Joshua might have been on something. I seen him up close when he came at the when I went to the
live,
Joshua to the workout. I was like 5 or 6 inches or a couple of inches away from him. I seen how big his arms are, and people are saying, has he been on the juice since the amateurs or pros? But you got to look at it this way: he got busted for a drug raid or something. He's been around the thing. Now, I'm not saying he's definitely on something right now, but definitely he must have taken something in his career. I could tell the difference between someone naturally that big and someone who's juiced it up. Another thing is, you look at the heavyweight division. I mean, the amount of guys who have been popped for taking
PDs or whatever, steroids. I mean, I don't need to go into the list, but I think the only guys who are definitely clean are probably Wilder and Joseph Parker. The rest have all got question marks. I mean, the Povetkin Ortiz situations, I agree in a way. I think it was a bit maybe unfortunate, I think, with Ortiz. I think he should have followed out.
I can't say Joshua got question marks. Like, I saw a regimen of what he was eating. How many calories a day?
No,
like,
but you got to look at this. He's never
natural food, but natural food can do a lot, man. If you diet properly and somebody cook for you every day and you put in the work, it can do a lot. And he's already a huge man. He's already a huge dude. That's a lot of muscle you can add on to that body. So I don't know, man.
Don't get me wrong. It's not a fact. He could be clean, but there's definitely a question mark. It's just like a question mark on everyone else. I seen you put question marks on Lomachenko, and I seen this before.
But remember, Joshua was doing the UCAD and Nevada when he was asked to do.
UCAD is awful. UCAD is not good testing. Just look at the protocols and look at the testing. A couple of guys who got tested by UCAD once or twice in the whole year.
Kid Gallahan, they said Kid Gallahan out for how long?
Yeah, but that was just a fortunate issue. Sometimes it's not good. UCAD is not reliable drug testing. Just look at the protocol. I mean, people are questioning VADA as well. I think with Joshua is definitely quite questionable. I mean, the Wilder fight, they don't want it, and I think some people have made a really good argument. They're trying to duck away from the WBC testing program. I think that is very suspicious, because I mean, if you look at the names that didn't sign up for it, like people like David A, that's another guy that I think I got question marks over. He might have taken something. So, I mean, until Joshua is tested to that level of the WBC or the new WBA program, I think people have a right to have question marks. As for Lomachenko, I think maybe he should sign up for the 365 because he's such a big name now, but I mean, I don't think Golovkin or Crawford are on that, so I don't know. I think all the top fighters should be signing up for 365 VADA testing.
All right, well, there you go, man. We got your input, Hamed. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully next time you can come in a little earlier so you can, because it's an interesting conversation. But I'm looking at the chat right now, and
what about the fight, the Saunders fight?
Yeah.
I couldn't really give it too much take. I've been gone back and forth 3 or 4 times. I think what I'll say is, when I've broken the fight down, I think Saunders is the favorite in terms of who will actually win. Whether or not he gets the decision will be another thing. But I think if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Saunders. I think a good boxer always beats a slugger. I don't think Lemieux is that good as a Golovkin. The only thing is, and I wouldn't put money on this fight, is because we haven't seen these guys, especially Saunders, in this type of fight for a long time, and he's been inactive, and the guys he's been fighting haven't been that good. But I think I picked, last time I spoke to someone, one of the podcasts, I said Lemieux I got by split decision. I just feel it'll be one of those fights like when I think Darren Barker fought Daniel Gill, and it's like a 6-6 fight, 7-5. But that was the thing I was going with. I think Lemieux might drop him maybe once, and Saunders goes into a type of survival mode, type of way where he doesn't want to engage, and he does what Tevin Farmer does at times, and people will be thinking he's outboxing him, but Lemieux will be clipping him 1 or 2.
All right,
I just feel that Lemieux is too heavy-handed. I think Lemieux might get the decision. Might be controversial.
Okay, well, that's interesting to get your prediction on that one. And I think so far most of the panel, and I think most of the people in the chat room, have picked Billy Joe Saunders. So we'll see, man. I know you got the Lomachenko prediction right last week, so we'll see.
It's a 50-50 fight. I think Saunders, Lemieux, it could go either way. It's one of those fights. I think Saunders might win. I'm not too sure. I'm split. I just think it could be one of those fights where Lemieux just might get the decision. Split decision, or maybe controversial decision.
Well, we'll see, man.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know, man. It's a 50-50 fight. Well, Hamed, thank you for coming in. I appreciate your thoughts, as always. I also want to thank everybody in the panel right now. You know, Low Plays, Ray, Michael, as always. King Butcher, who was here and had to leave. Victor Atkinson as well, who had some trouble with his computer. Hope he gets all of that sorted out. Cameron Gillon, who was also here earlier, along with PrecisePuncher, who dropped in to talk about PEDs. It certainly caught my attention with that whole Povetkin fiasco. I'm going to look into that if I can, if I have the time. Also want to thank again the people in the chat room. You know who you guys are, everybody. You know, B, Prob, KR, Funi1, Luis Catorce, Get Off Me Son, Akuma's Deception, PrecisePuncher, who was in there as well, holding things down, Pavel Juzunk, Sanctus Deum. Shit, that's a fucking complicated name you got there, man. Sanctus Deus Cror, who was also in there giving his opinion. Cliffus McDonald. You guys know who you are, man. Cachanlo, give me my weight. You guys make the show. Don't forget, next time if you want to call into the show, everybody's welcome. Again, everybody on the panel, I want to thank you as well. You guys make the show. Hope you enjoy the fight. I'm gonna try to do one because the Saturday, the 21st, Christmas Eve, that's on a Sunday. Yeah, we'll try to do another podcast next week. Worst case scenario, we'll do one during the week. So everybody take care. Ooh, Dead Vibes, I forgot to mention you. Get Off Me Son as well. Shout out to all of you guys. Again, everybody on the panel, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoy the fights. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.